Hello everyone. So in this video we'll be discussing about resource controllers. So in previous video we already saw about how to create a controller and how to use them, right? But in Laravel you can create several type of controllers. So one of them are resource controller, and not to mention these are the most used controllers, right? Okay, let's discuss about what is resource controller. In Laravel, a resource controller is a type of controller that provides a convenient way to define all of the common CRUD, create, read, delete operation for a resource or model in your application. It follows the convention-based approach where the controller methods are predefined and corresponded to the typical RESTful action associated with resource. By using of resource controller, you can quickly generate and handle routes for common CRUD operations with explicitly defining each route and methods individually. For create a resource controller, we have a artisan command as well as we have a artisan command for normal controller. So let's see how can we create a resource controller. Let's open the terminal. Okay, let me go inside my project, cd paste project. Okay, now in previously we saw for create a controller we have to run this command php artisan make controller, right? Then we have to define the controller name. Let's say I will again define a controller name which will be a blog controller. Okay, now how to create a resource controller? So if I press enter, it will create a solid basic controller. Okay, we have to give a hint to the Laravel that we want a resource controller this time. So for that we have to pass a flag at the end which will be -r. It will say to the Laravel that we want a controller, but it have to be a resource controller. Okay, now as I defined a flag here at the end which is r, which basically represent resource. Okay, if I press enter, it will create a resource controller for me. As you can see, it is giving me info that it created a controller inside the controller folder. So let me see, let's open the terminal, and if I collapse everything, let's go to app http controllers, and here as you can see we have a block controller. Okay, if I open it now, as you can see in this controller we have some predefined methods here. So Laravel by default scaffolding the RESTful actions for us. Like as you can see, we have this index method, create method, update store method, show method, delete, update, and destroy, right? So we have now all the necessary methods for create a CRUD. Okay, now resource controller comes with automated created routes. Those routes called resource route. Okay, if I open the web.php, okay, at the bottom as you can see, in previously we created this test controller, right? And here we have a contact method. Got it? So in here what we are doing here, when the user will hit this contact route or contact URL, it will hit this contact method from the test controller, right? So basically this called single route. Okay, but now what we did, we created a resource controller. This is not a basic controller, this is a resource controller. So the route will be different for this controller. We have to define a resource route for the resource controller. We cannot add a normal controller like this, normal route for like this. Okay, so how to define a resource route? So for define a resource route, you have to call the route facade : now in previously as you can see we added the route method after the colon, but for resource controller we have to use a resource route. So in here we will add resource method. Okay, so as you can see VS Code giving me some suggestion pre-made, I'll be just removing it. Okay, and rest of the thing will be same as we did here. First of all, we have to provide the URL for the routes. So let's say as we created a blog controller, so let's add the blog as our URL, and in the second argument we have to pass the controller. Okay, so in previously we wrapped the controller into this third bracket, and At the first we add the controller itself, and in the second we added the method name. Okay, because when the user will hit the controller URL, it will call this method, right? But the best part of the resource are we don't have to do it. We don't have to define the method name here. Laravel is smart enough to understand which method to call when. Let me show you. So we don't have to add here third bracket. We can just call the controller here. So we will call controller block controller and colon class. That's all we have to do here. Okay, now you can ask that in the block controller we have several methods like index, create, store, and more, right? So how we will call them? Okay, because we are not defining any kind of method into our route. Basically, for all of these method we don't have to create separated routes. This resource route will do the job. That's why instead of adding here several routes like get route, post route, and other route, we are using only a resource route, and this resource route have all the necessary routes for our this all methods. So that's why also we are not defining any kind of a specific method here. Okay, in case of the basic controller, if I open this test controller, which is the basic controller, if I have to add here a new method, let's say store. Okay, now what I have to do is, let's say I will just return none from here. Okay, this is just a sample method. Okay, if I want to call this method, what I have to do in the web, I have to create separated route, right? I have to create another route here, and we have to provide the URI. Let's say I can add here store. Okay, in here we have to change the method name. This time the method name will be store. Also we can change the name also, contact store. Okay, now as you can see, we define a new route, right? Because we have to call a new method. Got it? In previous route we are calling this contact method. When the user will hit this contact method, we will run this, or you can say we will trigger this contact method. I mean, when the user will hit this contact route, or you can say URL, it will hit this contact method from this controller, right? Now in the controller we have another method which is store method, just the method we just created. If I want to hit that method, we have to create another route. As you can see, we created another route. When we will hit on this route or URL, it will hit, or it will call this store method from the test controller. But in case of the resource controller, when we define this resource route, we don't have to specify any kind of method here, because Laravel will do all the stuff for us. If I open the controller again, block controller, for each method we have a route. Okay, predefined route. Let me show you. If I go to terminal again and clear this up, let's add here php artisan route list. You already know what this command does. It is just show you the route list of your application. Okay, so here as you can see, we have the block route. Look at here, we have around 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 routes. 7 route related to block. Okay, but look at the web.php, we only specify one route, but it's a resource route. It contains all the routes for the methods. So that's why in the route list we can see all of our routes. Okay, here as you can see, for this route the route name is a block.index, which will call the index method from the block controller. Similar way, we have the post route, which will be handling the storing part. The name of the route is block store. When the user will hit this URL, I mean, if the user sends a post request to this block route, in that case it will hit this store method from the block controller. Similar way, we have some more methods, and I mean that will call when these routes will hit by the user. Okay, cool, right? Generally we use the resource controller and use resource route when we are working with a CRUD. Like suppose I'm creating a blog page where admin can create a blog, admin can delete a blog, admin can update a specific blog. So we are trying to do the basic operation, basic database operation like create, delete, update. So those sort of stuff, when we had to do, we create this resource controller and resource route for make our work more easier and faster, right? So because we don't have to create these basic methods and routes by ourselves, Laravel automatically do it for us when we create a resource controller. Okay, so you will be getting a better view when we will jump into our project, when we will do a project and we use this resource controllers and resource routes in them. In that time you will understand it more better way. If you don't understand it now, for now just understand that in Laravel we have a resource controller also, and I also show you how to create the resource controllers and try to give you a basic idea how they works. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you understand, and I'll be seeing you at the next one. Hello everyone, so in this video we'll be discussing about models. Now in MVC architecture, M stands for models. In Laravel, models are PHP classes that represents database tables. They provide an abstraction layer for interacting with the database and performing CRUD operations. Models define the structure, behavior, and relationship for your application data entities. So if I make it a little bit more simple, basically models are responsible for interacting with the database. If I open our diagram again, MVC diagram, okay, so in here as you can see, when the user make any kind of request from the web page, route handle it and it calls a method from the controller, right? Then controller calls the model. Basically model handles all the database related stuff, database interaction part. Suppose user trying to see all of our latest blog, right? So it will user will request to see the latest blogs. It will send the request and Laravel routing system will call the method from the controller, and controller will add a signal or you can say send a signal to the model that user want to see all the latest posts or blogs. So model will interact with the database, gather the response and send the response into the controller back, and controller will return the response to the view. Okay, understood? So the model part is handling all of our database related stuff like communicating with the database, executing the operations and other stuff. Okay, now here what we are doing, instead of directly hitting the database, we are using model as our layer. We are sending our instruction to the model, and model is safely connecting to the database, fetching those products or you can say fetching those posts and sending a response to the controller again. Got it? So that's how model works. Let's close this up. Now let's see in Laravel how to create a model and how to use it. Okay, fine, I can close this up. First of all, let's open the web.php. So in the web.php, we created a resource route previously, which is the blog route, if you recall, right? We have a corresponding controller as well, which is a resource controller where we have ton of methods here. Okay, so we have the controllers. Now let's see how can we create a model, right? So let's go to terminal and I'll be just clearing this up. Now for creating a model, we have an artisan command, which is php artisan make model, and at the end you have to provide the model name. Got it? So we'll create a model which will be blog, and make sure when you are creating models, your database model name will be, or you can say your model name will be singular form. Okay, don't add here plural here. Okay, basically this is Laravel's convention. When you are creating a model, make sure you are making the model name with singular. Got it? So that's why instead of saying here blogs, we are saying here blog. We want to create a blog model. Got it? Okay, let's press enter, and as you can see, it's created the blog model for us, right? Now let's see, let's go here, and all the models will go inside app folder. Then here we have a model folder, and here as you can see we have the blog.php. This is a basic class. As you can see, it is extending this base model, that's all. Okay, then in here it is using this trade hash factory. You don't have to understand what it is doing right now. For now, let's concentrate on the model. So we created a model, and as I said, a model represent to a database table. Okay, so we created a model table. That means we have to add a table into our database as well with the block name. Okay, because in the database we don't have any kind of table right now. So now what we'll do, we'll be manually creating the table. Okay, basically we don't have to create table manually. We can also automate it, automate it with migrations, but we didn't work with the migrations yet. So when we will work with the migration, you will understand how to create database tables without going into the database manager. For now we are working with the model, so let's create a table for that model. Let's open the Laravel, let's open the manager, database manager, open. Okay, so my database manager is opened. Now here as you can see, this is the test DB that we are using in our this Laravel project, right? So for create a new table into this database, I have to right click, then we have this option create new, then you will find this one table. Just click on it. Let me make it a little bit big. Okay, now here as you can see we have a name field and we have a command field. You can leave this command field empty, it's totally fine, but in the name you have to provide the name of the table. Got it? So let's say our table name will be blogs. Okay, so in the model we name our model singular, but as you know that in database generally we create tables with a plural name, right? So I'm just following that convention. So I'm telling here blogs, our table name will be blogs. Now we can add here some fields as well. So from here you'll find this plus button, click on it and it will add a table here. For now what we can do is we can take here a ID. Okay, and let's select a data type begin, and let's set a length will be 20, and what I'll do is let's see, it will be unsigned. Let's click on it, and in the default it will be auto increment. Click on the auto increment. Okay, so when we will create a data, it will generate a ID for this column. Got it? Now we can add some additional columns as we are creating blog. So let's add title, which will be let's add a data type. Let's add worker as our title data type. It will be nullable. Yes, it will be nullable. It's totally fine. And for ID we can remove this nullable, but we don't need that, or we can make it nullable. It's totally fine for now. Let's click another one and let's add another column, which will be body. Got it? Now body can be text actually. Yeah, we can make it also nullable. Fine. Now everything is set. We have a title and body column and also a ID column. I can make it little at the top. So first title, second body. Yeah. Now what you have to do, you have to just click on save. So it is giving us an error. It is saying that incorrect table definition. There can be only one auto column. It must be a key. Okay, let's fix it. So this ID have to be a key because it will auto increment, right? So for fix that, we have to add a indexing for that ID. So let's go to index tab. Let's click on add. It will add a entry here. We can call it ID, and here instead of key we will make it primary key. Select primary and let's add the algorithm BTREE, this one. Okay, so it should fix the issue. Okay, if you are using database managers like PHP MyAdmin, you can just search at Google how to add primary key manually in table. You will get the answer, and if you get any kind of issue you can just ask in Q&A section. Okay, let's click on save. So we are now getting a primary key error. Okay, let's fix it. Let's select this ID, right click, then you will find add to index, select primary. So the ID is added into the primary key. So now let's click on save. Our database is completed. I mean, our database table has been created. Got it? Now we have a blocks table, right? Now let's try to access this table. Before doing anything, I will add some data here, dummy data. You have to go to data, then click on this plus icon. Okay, now let's add a title. I will add here this is a test title, and in the body this is a test body. Okay, so as you can see, our auto increment is already working fine. Right, so we added one data here. Okay, now let's go to our code editor again. Now we created the column, and not the column actually, database table for the blog. Okay, look at the blog name. Look at the model name. The model name is singular, and we have a table into our database with the same name but in plural version, which is blogs, right? So that's mean we are following the Laravel convention. In Laravel convention, if you create a model in singular tone or in singular form, and your database table is in plural form, in that case you don't have to define any kind of table name into your model. Okay, Laravel is smart enough to find out which table we are referring to. Okay, so our model name is blog, so our model, this blog model, already know that which table it have to connect with. It will connect with blogs data table, not data table, database table from this model. Got it? If you are not following the convention, if you are adding anything else into the database name here, in that case you have to define the database name into the model, that which database table this model have to connect. So for that we will use here a protected property, protected, then we have to add here table, which basically will hold our table name. Okay, so our table name is blogs, okay, in this line, and our model is now ready to go. Got it? Now using this model we can interact with our this blogs table from the database without any kind of issue. Either we can use Laravel DB query for run our operation, or we can also use Laravel Eloquent. Basically, if you don't know about Laravel Eloquent ORM, for now just understand it is the Eloquent is easier way to run database query in Laravel. It is the queries are really easy to understand and human readable. Got it? Okay, now let's try to access our this database table. Let's see, can we fetch some data from here or not? Okay, let's go to web.php, and we have a controller, right? We have a resource controller here already, so we can use that controller for testing it. Got it? Okay, now what I'll do, I'll open the controller. So in the controller we have this index method, right? So if I go to my terminal from here and run route list php artisan route list, enter. So here, as you can see in the route list, we have lots of block routes because these are also resource route. At the first route we have the index route. Okay, what this index route do, basically it will call this index method from this controller. Basically we use this index method for return a view. Okay, return the index view. So suppose currently we are working with block, right? So if the user want to see all the blogs, he can just go to this route, which is our blog route. Okay, and when the user will hit the blog route, it will hit this index method from the, not this one actually, this is the route name actually, index route from this blog controller. Got it? So now let's try it out. What I'll do, in the index method from here, I will return a string here. Let's say all blogs. Okay, now as our route is saying we have a blog route, so let's go to our page, not here. Let's close this up. So I already serving my application. From here I will access the blog. Okay, enter, and as you can see it is giving us all all log, because from the controller method we are returning this string. Got it? Okay, so everything is working. So currently I will not return any kind of view because I'll be testing that our model is working or not. Okay, so as I was saying, that instead of directly hitting at the database, directly connecting with the database, we'll be using model layer. We'll call the model, and all the necessary steps for fetching the data, connecting with the database and running the operation, it will handled by the model. Obviously we'll be giving the instruction that what we have to do in the database. Okay, first of all, let's add a variable here. We can call it block. Okay, is equals to, now we have to call our model, which is block, that the class we created. So let's add here block. As you can see, VS Code is giving me hint. Click on it and it will import the class at the top. Make sure you import the class from the top, at the top, otherwise it will throw exception. Got it? Now let's introduce with some methods, some eloquent methods that you can use for grab data or manipulate your data at the database table. So there are several, or you can say ton of methods available in Eloquence for interacting with the database. So the basic one is, one of the basic method is all. Okay, in this line. Now how to execute a method from the model? You have to first of all put your model name, then colon, then you have to call the method name. So we are calling this all method. So what this all method do, it will fetch all of the data from this model, or you can say from the database table. If I hover on this method, you can see here is a short note, get all of the models from the database. So it will grab all the data and return them into a collection. As you can see in here, it is in the return, it is saying it will return it as a collection. I already told about the collection, what it is. Basically collections are a group of data, or you can say data structure similar to array but more flexible. Okay, so that is done. Now this will be our small query for now. So what we are doing, we are just fetching, we are we are giving this instruction to this model that we need all of the data from the database table, which is block table, because if I open the blog, we added here the name of the table that we want to attach with this model, which is blocks table. Got it? Okay, so from here I will just return this block variable. Got it? Now let's go to front end. If I refresh this page, and as you can see, we're getting a data. Cool, right? We're getting one data here currently, because in our database we have only one entry. Look at here, we have a ID, we have a title, and we have a body. If I go to database manager again, if I add a new data here, let's say this is the second data, I can add it here, data body. Got it? If you just put it here and just click anywhere here in the white space, and it will save your data. Got it? Let's now go to our front end. Now in our database we have two datas. Now if I refresh this page, you'll be seeing we are getting two datas at our page. We have ID1 and we have the ID2. Okay, because we are using this all methods, so no matter how many data we have into this database table, it will fetch them all, because we are instructing to we are giving instruction to this model that we need all data. Now if you want to just grab a specific data, so if you already worked with PHP and MySQL, that how we grab a single data, basically we use any kind of identifier. It can be ID, it can be title, it can be anything, but it have to be unique if you are trying to grab a single data, right? So in for that reason we used we took a ID column right? In every data creation, it will generate a unique ID, okay, a primary key. So via this ID we can grab the data. So suppose I want to grab this second data only. So how can we do that? As we are using Eloquent ORM, it is really easy. As I told you before, it is really easy to interact with the database when you are using Eloquent. So instead of all, I'll remove the all. There is a method called find. Okay, I'll call this find method, and this find method takes a parameter on it, which will be the ID, the identifier, you can say. So in the find method we have to put the row ID. So we have a ID column here, got it, and which basically contain a unique ID. So we want to grab the value of the second row, or you can say second ID's title and body. In that case, I can just pass here 2. Now look at here, let's go here, refresh this page, and as you can see, it is giving me only the value from the second ID. Okay, in our database we have two rows or two datas available, but now we are getting only one data, right? So that's how you can grab the single data. If I again go to all, refresh, you'll be seeing the all datas here. Fine, we're getting all the datas. Now what if you want to only get the want to get the fast data from your collection? In that case, we have another method which is fast. Okay, it will just throw you the fast data of your collection. So we are getting the fast data. As you can see, the ID is 1. Okay, now that's mean our model is working. Now we can interact with our database without any kind of issue with the model itself. And one thing about it, if I go to blog model again, so in previously we added this protected property where we mentioned the which database table it will connect with, right? So if I remove this one, will our code will work? Let's go to controller again. Instead of fast, I will add here all again. Let's go here, refresh this page, and as you can see, we are still getting the data because we followed the Laravel convention. As I said, when you are creating a model, the model name should be singular form of your database table name, okay, and the table name of the database have to be plural. So Laravel's service container will automatically resolve this naming convention, and without any kind of issue you can access your database easily. If you change your database table name at your database, in that case you have to mention the name like this, not here actually. You have to add a protected property here, and you have to mention the, obviously you have to add here table. Make sure the variable name is same, property name is same table, otherwise it will not work. And in the value you have to provide the name of your table. Got it? So that's it. That's how you can create model and use it. Now there are all the operations available here in Eloquent that is available into the MySQL. You can create data, you can delete data, you can update data with these models. So we'll be exploring them in our future video. For now, we just created a model and we saw how to interact with the table with the help of the model. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you understand, and I will be seeing you at the next one. Take care. Hello everyone. So in this video, we'll be discussing about Laravel migrations. Now, in Laravel, migrations are a way to migrate your database schema using PHP code. Migrations allows you to define and make changes in your database structure, such as creating or modifying tables, adding, removing columns, and applying indexes, etc. Migrations provide a version control system for your database schema, allowing you to incrementally evolve your database structure over time and easily collaborate with other developers. So in previously we created a database table, right, and we created it manually from our database manager, which is this blocks, but we can create our database with our Laravel also instead of doing it manually. Okay, so here comes the migrations. Via migrations we can manage our database schema. we can create a database, database table, we can create database columns, we can modify them, we can delete them, etc. Right? So in this video we'll be exploring migrations in depth, and we'll be seeing how to work with migration. Okay, before starting our video, what I'll do, I'll delete our previous database table that we created, which is blog. Right, just right click on the database table and you'll find this one, drop. Just click on it, it will drop the table. Okay, so as you can see, it is deleted. Now if I refresh this page, let's go here, let's go to test table. As you can see, in the test DB we don't have any kind of table right now. Okay, now how to create a migration? For create a migration, let's open the terminal. We have a migration command, artisan command for creating the migration, as like the model command and controller command. So we have to add here php artisan make migration, and migration, then we have to provide the migration name. Basically there is a convention, naming convention in Laravel, that how to add the migration name. It will always start with create. Okay, create underscore, then you have to provide your table name. Got it? So we'll be creating a blocks table. We just deleted our previous blocks table, so we'll create the table again, but this time we'll be using Laravel migration. So the table name will be blogs. Look at here, I'm specifying the table name in plural because table name will be always in plural. It will save us some time, okay, when we will work with the model actually. Okay, then we first of all started with create underscore, then we provided our model, not the model, table name. After that we have to add it via underscore table because we are trying to create a table. So this is the naming convention recommended by Laravel. Got it? So our migration name always will start with create underscore, and in the middle we have to provide the migration name, table name actually, then it will end with underscore table. Got it? So it is human readable. As you can see, it is saying that create blocks table. That's all. Now if I press enter, it will create this migration for us. So as you can see, it created a migration inside this database folder. In the database folder we have this migration folder, and here is our migration. Okay, let me show you. If I go to code editor, and here we have this database folder. As you can see in our folder structure, open the database, you'll find this migration, and here is our newly created migration. If I just make it a little bit big, look at the name of our file. At first it is providing the date, then time. After that we have the name of our migration that we added into the terminal, which is create block table, right? Okay, let's open this one, and as you can see, we have a class. Basically it is returning a class which is extending the base migration class. Okay, after that we have two methods here. One is up method, second is down method. Okay, look at the up method. In the up method we have this schema facade, or you can see schema class. From here we are calling this method create. That means we'll create a database table in our database. Then here is, in the first parameter we have the name of our database, then in the second parameter we have the callback. We are basically injecting another class inside this function, which is blueprint. We are creating an instance of it, and it is table, right? And now via this table instance we can create our column. Okay, Laravel blueprint will help us to create columns into our table without any kind of issue. We have all of the data types available into this class that we can use to create our table easily. Got it? So in here we have predefined two columns already. So we have id column. So in previously, remember, we created a id column into our blocks table, right? We have to do lots of things for fixing the primary key issue. You saw that we have to add a primary key there and make it auto increment and other stuff. But when we will use the migration, we don't have to do anything. We can just call this id method from the table instance, and it will just create a id column into our table. Got it? So these two columns are predefined, so you can, if you don't want them, you can just remove it, but most of the cases we don't remove them because in every table there should be a unique id. Otherwise there we have to add a unique identifier by ourselves, which we don't want. So id column is fine. Then we have the name stems, sorry, time stems. So this time and stems method will add two columns into the table. One will be the created at date, and the second will be the updated at date. So here we can know that when we created a new data into the database, or when that data has been updated. I'll be showing you a little bit later on. Now let's define some columns here. Okay, so after the id, I'll create another column into our this blocks table. Let's call the instance table. Then we have to add here the data type. Which data type will be set for this column? Okay, so first column will be title, so that's mean it will be varchar data type. But in Laravel, in this migration, we don't have any kind of method like varchar. We have string. We have a string method. Basically, string method will create a varchar data type into our database table. So instead of calling varchar in Laravel, we call it string. Got it? So in here, in the string method, we have to provide the column name. So our column name will be title. Got it? In this line. Now just copy this line, paste it again, because I'll be creating another column which will be body. Okay, so you already know a varchar data type only can contain around, I guess, 255 characters long text, right? But in the body column we have to store lots of data. We can, I mean, in there we have to add the block contents, right? So in that case we cannot use varchar, we have to use text. So text data type actually. So in migrations, I mean in the blueprint instance, we have a text method which is basically represent to the text data type. So it will create a column with the text data type in our database table. So for now these are enough. There are all data type available in this instance, like float, boolean, integer, big integer, then decimal, date, time, and more. All the data type that is available to the MySQL is we have a method for them here in this blueprint class. We can call those methods for create a specific data type column into our table. So some stuff are modified here, like we don't call varchar, I mean we don't have any kind of varchar method here. Instead of varchar we have this string. Basically it will create a varchar column into the database. Okay, and if I want to add a integer column, in that case in the database data type we have a int column, I mean int data type, right? So instead of int we call it here integer. Okay, so in here we have to put the column name. That's all. You can find this all the methods in the Laravel documentation as well. You can just search for migration data type list and it will give you all the data type list. So for now just these two columns will do the job. Now our migration is created. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to migrate this file. Got it? Let's go to DB manager. In the DB manager we don't have any kind of table right now, right? So when we will migrate this file that we just created, it will create a table, because in the schema as you can see it is calling this create method. So it will create a table by this name blocks, and it will add these columns into that table. Got it? So this is the work of the up method. Then we have another method which is down method. So remember in previously we deleted our table, right, in the starting of this video. So we didn't delete it, we dropped it, right? We dropped that table from the database manager. So basically if we want to drop this table that we will migrate here, block table, we can do it via this migration as well. We can run a command and it will drop the table like we did it from our database manager manually. So it will handle, this method will handle the dropping part of the database. Got it? Okay, now let's see, let's create our model, sorry, not the model, I mean table. Let's go to terminal. What I have to do is, let's clear this first. I have to run this command php artisan migrate. Okay, and it will migrate all of our migration file. Let's press enter, and as you can see, we run this command first time in our this project, so it migrated all the migration is available into this migration folder. As you can see, the migration folder, we have some column, I mean some files here. These all are the default files from the Laravel, and we created a new one which is the block table, right, or block migration. So if you check out the list of the migration files that it migrated, here as you can see we have the default files, and here at the last we have our file which is create block table. Got it? Right, now let's go to database. As our migration is completed, that means all the database table has been created. If I go to test table, testdb, and refresh this page, and here as you can see we have all of our tables. If I open it like this, as you can see we have the block table, our own table that we just created. Then we have some more tables like user, personal access token, failed jobs, and other stuff. Basically these also are from Laravel, default Laravel tables, so we don't have to worry about them for now. Just focus on blocks table. If I open the blog, look at here in the table list, I mean in the columns, we have id column, title column, block column, and as I said, as we use this timestamp, not the timestamp, date and timestamp, sorry, it is timestamp actually, yeah, as we are using this timestamp, it created two new columns which is created at and updated at, right? Look at the data type for both of them. The data type is timestamp, and look at here for the id, it is big integer. Okay, look at here in the default it is auto increment, and we have a primary key also for it, so this id will auto increment when a data will added. Got it? Look at the title. In the data type, the title is varchar. Got it? But in here as you can see, when we are creating the column, we added this method which is string, and I already said that string basically represent to the varchar data type. So as you can see, we created a title column with a varchar data type. Then we have the body. Look at the data type of the body, it is text. Got it? Okay, so that's how you can create a new table into the database without any kind of manual work. You can just use the migration file, and there are more benefits of the migration file as well. Suppose you by mistake delete the database, right, or delete any kind of table from your database manager, so you lost all of your database columns and other stuff. But if you have a migration, so you have a backup of your columns. Your data will lost, we cannot do anything about it if you don't have any kind of backup, but we have all of the columns that a database table had, right? So at last our database tables are secure if we use migration. If you just add this migration command again, so it will migrate it. So currently it is saying that no, nothing to migrate because we migrated all of our files in our previous command. So currently we don't have any kind of migration, so it is throwing this alert. Got it? Now suppose you want to add a new column into the database. How you will do that? You can just add a new column here, put it here, and we can add here a boolean column, boolean, and the column name could be status. Okay, in the status column we will either store 1 or 0 because data type is boolean. Okay, so it will represent the status of the block. Got it? Now we added a new column. That means we have to add this column at our database also. We just added this new line into the migration. So what we have to do, we have to remigrate this file. Got it? So what we can do is we can go here again and add php artisan migrate, enter. It will say nothing to migrate because we migrated this all of file previously. Got it? Now that's mean we have to follow another method. There is another command for migrate all the file again. So we can add here php artisan migrate fresh. Okay, enter, and it will drop all of our table and remigrate them. Note that I'm saying that this command will drop all of your table and then remigrate them. That's mean if you have any kind of data existing into your database tables, it will delete those datas and remigrate all of these migrations. That means it will give you fresh tables. And now if I go here and let me collapse it, refresh this one, let's open it. Now if I open the blog, now in the blog, as you can see, we have a new row here which is status. Okay, it is tiny int and other stuff, and look at the length. As I said, it can only hold one value. It can be 0 or 1. Anyways, so now our column is appeared here, so it's working. But remember one thing, be careful with this command php artisan migrate fresh, because as I said, it will delete your previous data, previous all of the data that is containing in your tables and remigrate it. It can cause some issues when you are working in local development or even server. It is highly risky to run this sort of command in server. It is not recommended because it will just dump all of your data. Okay, so be careful with this type of commands. So currently we don't have any kind of data in the database, so that's why I just run this command. If you have any kind of data in your database, don't run it, otherwise it will just delete all of your data. Okay, so these are the basic use of the migration. We saw how to create a newly database, a table, without any kind of manual work. We can use migration, and also we saw how can we add changes into the migration and remigrate it. Okay, there are some several ways of the migration. I'm doing the migration. Obviously we'll be covering them in our future videos. For now, just as a basic, just know that we have a call, we have a feature called migration, where we can create database and we can manipulate the schema, database schema easily. Got it? So that's it for this video. I hope you understand, and I'll be seeing you at the next one. Hello everyone. So in this video we'll be discussing about Eloquent ORM. Now what is this Eloquent ORM? Basically this ORM stands for Object Relational Mapping. Now Eloquent ORM is an integral part of Laravel and provides an expensive and convenient way to interact with your database using object-oriented programming techniques. Eloquent ORM allows you to work with database tables using models which represent the data structures and logic of your application. We already saw how to use, we already saw a basic use case of Eloquent in our previous video, if you recall. If I show you it again, let's open app, HTTP controllers. In the controller we have this block controller, right? So here, as you can see in the index method, we wrote down this Eloquent query. This basically this called Eloquent query. We are not using typical database query here. We are using now Eloquent, right? So what this Eloquent query is doing, it is just grabbing all of the data from the blocks table and giving us those data, right? If we were if we were using the raw query, we have to write a lots of things for do the same action. If we want to grab all the data from the database, so in that case, if we are not using Eloquent, what we have to do, let me show you. Let's copy this portion, paste it here, comment this up, and I can remove this portion. Okay, so in Laravel we have a DB instance, so we have this DB class that you have to import at the top. As you can see, this is a DB facade. Okay, so from this DB basically represent to our database that we are connecting on. So you can see it just give us a database instance, right? From here we can run any kind of DB query. Okay, so if we're using this DB query, so what we had to do is we have to call a method which is select, then we had to add here our query. So let's add here a string. It will be select star. That means we are trying to select all the data from the table. We have to add here from, all the data from, and we have to add from where. So we have to define our table name. So our table name was blocks. Okay, then after that we can add here get. Okay, so it will get the data. Got it? So look at here, and actually we don't need this get, we can just remove it from here. So this will be our query. Look at here, what we have to do, we had to do lots of more work than our previous query. In the previous query, what we are doing is we are calling just this method from the model, from the block model. We doesn't have to select the table from the database. We doesn't have to do anything, because we are using model which will be handling all the connection to the table. We're just calling a static method from the block model, which is all, which will give us all the data from the database. Okay, these two queries are the same, just this one is a little bit bigger than the previous one, right? So what we typically do when we work with Laravel, we always use Eloquent. Sometimes we have to use the raw queries, I mean the query builder also, but most of the time we use the Eloquent because it is way more easy and human readable. Got it? Okay, so let's remove this one. Now in this video we'll be working with some Eloquent operations. We'll be seeing some basic example of the Eloquent queries, like how to update a data at the database, how to create a new data, how to delete a data, something like this. Okay, so yeah, in previously we created this block model, and we have a migration also. So we have a table at the database for this block, right? If I go here at the database, and here as you can see we have this block table, right? If I go to data, so currently we don't have any kind of data here, right? So first thing, let's try to add a new data, or you can say insert new data into the database via Eloquent query. Okay, so let's do it then. So here what we was doing previously, we was just fetching the all data from the database. So currently we'll be not doing that, we'll just comment it out. Got it? Now we can remove this return part as well for now. Now first thing what we have to do, we have to as we are working with the creating part, I mean we will try to create a data in the database. That's mean first of all we have to create a instance of our model. Okay, as I already told you several times, all of our stuff, our database stuff, will handle the model. Okay, we will just give it instruction, and the execution part and connecting to database and other stuff, it will do a model itself. Got it? Okay, so let's take a variable here. Let's say I can call it blog, and as I said, we have to create an instance of our model because we are creating a data. So for that I will add here new key, then call our blog. Okay, I'm calling our model, or you can say I'm calling the class blog. Okay, so now I created a instance of our blog model. Okay, now via this instance we can access all of the database attributes, I mean database table attributes, I mean block table attributes. In here what kind of attributes we have, as you can see we have I'm trying to say columns, right? So in here as you can see we have ID column, title column, body column, status column, and we have some more columns. These all are basically attributes. So what we can do, we can access them now because we created a instance of our block model, and block model will resolve all kind of connections and other stuff. That means we can access this table columns now. Okay, now what we will do, we'll call this instance blog, and as I said, I can access the columns from this instance now. So first of all, what we have, if I go to database manager, we have the ID, and basically ID is a auto incremental so we don't have to add any kind of value here. It will generate a unique ID automatically. We can focus on title and body, and we have a status as well. So as I said, from this object we can access its properties. That's mean I can access all of these columns like object orienting way. Let me show you. So I want to access the title, so I will add here title, so it will give me the access of the title. Now I can add a new value to it. For assign a value, you know that we can use is equals to sign. Then in here we can add any kind of value we want. I can add here this is a new title. Got it? In this line, so we added a value for our this title attribute. Now after that I can copy it, paste it again. Now we have to add a value for the body, so let's put here the body. We will access the body now, and here we can call it this is a new body. Okay, then after that we have the status column. So similar to this one, we will again call the blog instance. We will be accessing the status. Okay, and we can put here any kind of, as our this column is a boolean column, that's when in here we can add either 0 or 1. If we add any other values, we will get a error from our database. So for now I will add here 1. Okay, so we assigned all of our datas, I mean values for the attributes, database attributes. We have some more columns like created at and updated at. This will fill automatically, we don't have to add any kind of value for them. Let me show you. So we added the value. Now what we have to do, we have to save those values. Okay, so how to save with Eloquent? First of all, let's end this line. Let's call this instance blog and chain a method which is save. That's all we have to do. We can use this save method for save all of this new data that we added here into our database table. Got it? That's all we have to do here. Now after that, what I can do is I can just dd this blog instance. Okay, now if you don't know about what is this dd, is basically dd mean die-dump. This code will execute, I mean end executing here, and it will dump the data. Got it? Okay, now let me see. I will go to my blog URL. So here, as you can see, we are at the website. I'm already serving my website, and currently I'm at the blog page. I will press enter. This is from old data. Okay, and let's see what happened. And as you can see, we are getting a response here. That's mean our code has been executed. In here we are getting lots of data because we are just dumping a object. We're dumping this instance of the blog, right? So that's why we are getting lots of thing here, the inner datas. Look at here, our table name is blogs. Okay, here is our connection, which is MySQL. Then the key type is integer because our ID type is integer, that's why it is showing here. Then we have with count. This is also basically the properties of the object, but in here what we can see, we can inspect this one, the attributes. As I said, we assign the value for these attributes, new values for these attributes like title, body and status. If I open this array, this is basically array. If I click here, and here as you can see, we have our data. Look at here, in the title we have the title, in the body we have the body string, status is 1, and look at here, update and created at have its own value. So it is current date and time, so Laravel automatically generate this too, and we have it auto generated ID as well, which is our primary key. If I want to see the original one, here we have the original one as well. Okay, so as we are getting this one, that's mean our data has been created at the database site. Okay, let me see. Let's go here at the database manager and I'll give it a refresh, and here as you can see, in the data tab we have a new data. Got it? So we successfully created the data via Eloquent query. Okay, so that's how easily you can create data in organized manner. And currently we are using object oriented programming, object oriented way to store our data. We don't have to write down the raw queries, lots of if you already work with the MySQL and PHP, you know that for storing that much data, how hassle we have to cross, right? We have to write lots of query here. We had to add placeholders for datas. Then we have to put the datas in every columns with the columns name. That's a lots of work. But when you are using Eloquent, it is really easy. We are just initiating we are creating a instance of our model. Okay, then we are accessing our database attributes, column attributes like title, body, status. We're assigning the new values here and just saving them. Okay, that's how you can create a new data with Eloquent. Now we created our data. I can change some stuff here, like 2 to, we can make it 0, and let me add here 2 as well for better understanding. Now this is our let's say this is our second data. If I go at the front end and refresh this page, it will execute the code again. And if I open the attribute, as you can see, we just created a new data. Okay, look at the title 2. This is a new title 2, and here is the body and other stuff. Now if I go to database manager and refresh this page, as you can see, we have a new data here as well, right? So that's how it works. Now we learned how to create or how to add a new row in the database table with Eloquent. Now let's see how to update a data. So currently in our database we have 2 rows, right? So for update it, the procedure is simple, as like we did in PHP or MySQL. We need a unique key or unique identifier. By that we have to catch the row that we want to update, then we can just update it. Okay, so similar rules go for the Eloquent also. First of all, we have to grab the row from the database that we want to update, then we will just change the stuff, the things we want to update, then we will save it into the database. Got it? So let's see. So what I'll do, I will just copy this portion, and also I can add a title here, create data, and I can just commit it out. Now let's go at the bottom and I will add another comment, update data. Okay, let's paste all the copy stuff here. Now updating in Eloquent is really simple. It is same as the creating data. So that's why I just copied everything and pasted here. Just what I have to do is I have to change this portion. First of all, in here in the create case, what we was doing is we was creating an instance of our model, right? This time we don't have to create instance of our model. We'll be just selecting the row from the database. Okay, and by default it will return us a instance. We don't have to create a new instance. So I will just remove it. So what you have to do is, first of all, we have to call our model, which is blog. Okay, and colon. In previous video I told about you a method which is find method, where we can grab a row from our database. Okay, when we use this find method, basically it contains, it requires a parameter. In here we have to add the ID of our row. Okay, so as we have this ID column common in all of our tables, right? Basically in every table there will be a primary key. Via the primary key we can select any kind of row. So for our this table we have also a primary key, which is ID, which is 1 2 currently. So suppose I want to edit this second row. Okay, so in here I put it this 2 twice here, 2 times here, 1, and here is another one. So I want to update this title. So for that we can use this ID for grab this row from the database and access this attribute for changing the data. Let me show you. Let's go here. We have this find method. So find, as I said, find method will only return you one data from the database. Okay, it will not send you a set of data or a collection of the data. It will just give you one data, and it is required a parameter which will be the ID, and I want to access the second row from my database. As you can see, I am trying to access this one. Okay, now before doing anything, before updating anything, if I just go here and diagram this blog, now let's see what we get. Let's end this line. Let's go to our front end, refresh this page, and as you can see, we're getting only one data here. If I open the attribute here, as you can see, we're getting the second data. Look at the ID. We put it here 2 as our ID, that's why we're getting the data from the second row. If I put here 1, go here, refresh this page, open the attribute, look at the ID. Now we're getting the data from the row number 1. Got it? So we also use find for grab a single data from the database, and also we can use it for update the data. Okay, let's remove this dd. Now as we have the instance of the blog that we want to update, or you can say instance of the model that we want to update, so I want to update the second row. Okay, so everything will be same in the bottom part, we just have to update the values. So currently we have this title, we added it previously, so I'll just remove this 2 from here and we can call it this is updated one. Remove this one, I will put here this is updated one. Okay, and also we can update the status also. Look at here what we are doing, we are grabbing the data from the database that we want to update, we're accessing the attribute of it like object orienting way, blog title, blog body, blog status, and we are assigning the new values now. Okay, at the end we'll be just calling the save method. As I said, save method will help you to save your data to the database, so we are confirming that we want to save this data to the database, so it will save it. So that's all you need to update query. I mean, if you want to update any data from the database, you can just write down this query. It's similar to the create operation. In previously we just created a new instance of our model. Now we are just grabbing, or you can say selecting a data from the database, and from this block instance now we can access all of our database attributes, and we are assigning new values. Now the moment of truth, we have to check it out. Okay, let's do it then. Let's go here and I'll be just refreshing this page. Okay, so we are getting our diagram data. If I open this attributes, look at here. Here we are getting our updated title, we have the updated body, this is updated one, this is updated one, we have status 1, and if you see here we have another array which is changes. So in this array it is showing the what is changed into our this row. In our row the title is changed, body is changed, even the status has been changed, and also this updated at value has been changed, because this updated at value is by default created by Laravel, right? So when we will update a data, it will store the updated data time and date stamp into this field. Okay, and we have a created data where we where it will store the created data and time, I mean date and time. Okay, this will happen automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. But we just change these 3 columns values, and in the changes we can see them here. Got it? If I go to database for make sure that everything is okay, if I refresh this page, as you can see our value is updated. So that's how you can do update operation from Eloquent. Okay, now let's see how to grab all the data. So I already showed you how to grab all the data via this all method. So there is another way. Okay, I'll just remove, I'll just comment it out. I can add here get datas. Okay, let's add a variable blog is equals to, let's call the blog model. Now suppose you want to grab some data conditionally. So you know that in there, I mean in MySQL we have lots of conditions like where condition, like of stuff. So also in Eloquent we can use the where condition, and we have some more condition here, vast array of condition, some custom condition, I mean inbuilt condition into Laravel that we can use. For now we'll be just seeing the basic one. Like for use a where condition, I will add here colon colon, and I can say where. Okay, I'll call this where method. In here I have to add the condition. Okay, so what we can do, if I go to database, here as you can see we have this status column, right? So in this status column I like to fetch all the datas from the database, that's those datas who have status 1 in them. Okay, so I can add here the column name, which will be status and comma, and we have to add here the operation, what kind of operation we want. So it will be is equals to, okay, so status is equals to 1. So in the third parameter, what we are doing, we are adding the value. So what it is saying that where status is equals to 1, and only we will get those values from the database. So you have to chain another method. This time we will call a method which is get. So we will just get these values from the database. Okay, so you can say why we can't use all, because it is also providing all the values. It serves its own purpose. You can see it's called, I mean the method name is all, so that means it will just throw you all the data from the database. Okay, now as we are specifying our condition here, so we cannot use all because it will not throw all the datas. Okay, we are using the condition, that's why we are adding here get. So I'm just saying that get all the data from the database which status is 1. Got it? Okay, now we are dynamic this variable. Let's check it out. Let's go here, refresh this page, and look at here. In here we have this item array. In the array we have two models. If I open this one and go to attributes, look at here, we are getting our data, our first data, status is 1. And if I open the second one and here if I open this array attributes, look at here, id is 2, status is 1. If I go to database manager, you will be find that our both of the row here have this similar status which is 1. That's why we are getting here two arrays of the data, because by condition we are checking that the rows that have status value 1, we are getting those values, right? I mean we are getting those rows. So in the database we have two rows that have status 1 in them, we are getting 2. So if I make it 0 for 1, let's see what we get here. If I look at here, we are currently getting 2 data, right? As I change value here, as you can see, we are getting 1 as our response. So we only got one blog that have status 1 in them. So here as you can see, here is the id, and look at the status for this blog, the status is 1. Okay, so we have only one row here, but in the database we have two rows. We fetch only one because our this one doesn't fulfill our condition. Got it? So that's why that's how you can use where condition in your Eloquent query really easily. Look how simple it is. Now if you want to add some more condition here, obviously you can chain some more where condition. There isn't any kind of limit. You can add, I mean you can chain numbers of where condition, or you can say where methods here. It will not cause any kind of issue. Or there is a shorter way also. Instead of chain this where method several times, we can pass here a array. Okay, before going into the where part, what we can do here, as you can see, we are comparing the status value with 1, right? So we have an operation here, operator here, which is equals to. So we can remove this portion. Okay, there isn't any kind of critical operation going on here. So if I just add here status comma 1, Laravel is smart enough to understand what I am trying to say. So it will just compare this value, status value, with 1 in the database. If I go now at the front end and refresh this page, you'll be seeing nothing changed. We are still getting the data, right? But why sometimes we use this second argument? Suppose you want to get some data greater than 0, so we can add it like this: give me all the data that value is greater than 0 from the status column. In that case, it will give us one data. Still we are getting the one data. If I open it, so as you can see, we are getting number 1 because this one's status value is greater than 0. Okay, so if you want to add a little bit more complex condition, you can write it here. Okay, it doesn't matter what you want to add here. If it's valid, it will work. Okay, let's go back to our wire part, how to chain multiple wire methods. So this time we'll be not using the method. What we can do, we can pass here a array. Okay, and as we are using an array, obviously we have to add here this arrow sign. Okay, now what we are doing here is, this will be our value, this will be our first condition. We are comparing the array, comparing the column value with 0. So what it will do, it will only get the columns that have status 0 in them. Okay, now if you want to add another condition here, you just have to add a comma and you have to add the condition here. Let's say the ID of the row have to be 1. Okay, now if I go here, refresh this page, as you can see, we're getting item 0. We don't have any kind of row here. Why? Because we don't have any kind of data like this. Condition isn't fulfilling. Look at here, our status is 0 for this row, but the ID is 2. In the condition, what we are doing is, what we are trying to say, the status have to be 0 and the ID have to be 1. In that case, it will just get the data, otherwise it won't. So for 2 number ID, it fulfills our condition. That means if I go here, refresh this page, you will see that we're getting 1 data here. Okay, so that's how you can add multiple where condition here. And also, as I said, you can chain where condition as well, like where, and you can put this portion inside here. Got it? Like this. Obviously, as we are not inside a array, in that case we don't need this arrow function. We can just, arrow sign, we just have to add here comma, then the value. Okay, so I will just Control Z it. Yeah, so that's it. That's how you can fetch data conditionally. Now let's work with the last part. We saw how to create data, how to fetch data, how to fetch conditionally, data conditionally, and also we saw how to update data. Okay, now the last thing, let's see how to delete a data. Got it? It is also easy. I'll just comment this out and I will add here delete data. Got it? Now let's again add a variable here, blog. Now what I'll do, I'll select a data from the database. Obviously, if you want to delete a specific data, you have to select the data with some sort of identifier, right? So in our case, we have an ID column which hold all of the unique ID for each row. What we can do here, we can call the blog and call the find method and put our ID that we want to delete. If I go to database manager, let's say I want to delete this second number row, so let's put here 2. So it will give us the row from the database, and what I'll do is I'll access this instance and I'll chain a method which is delete. Got it? So that's all we have to do for delete. Now if I refresh our index page, it will delete our data. If I refresh it, so we are dumping our data. If I open it, we are getting this response. It's totally fine. But if I go to my database now, refresh this page, look at here, our second data has been removed from our database. So that's means we deleted that data. Got it? Now again, we execute the data, that means the second number row has been already deleted. Now if I again go here and refresh this page, it will throw me a error. Let me show you here. As you can see, Laravel is giving me a error, call to a member function delete on null. Okay, so it is coming from this line. Basically it's coming from this line because we are trying to find the ID in the database that doesn't exist. We just deleted the second number row from our database, so this means there isn't any kind of ID regarding this one, I mean 2. So that's the reason this variable is empty, and we are trying to delete a item from the empty variable. So that's why Laravel is giving me this error that call to a member function delete on null. So as I said, block is null, that's why we are getting this null error. So how to fix that? So our data is not existing to our database and we are trying to delete something. So for quick fix, we have a method. So instead of using find method, we will use another method which will exactly work like find, but it also handles the exception. We are currently getting this exception, right? Call to a member function delete on null. So for handle the exception, we'll be replacing this method find method with another superior method, which is find or fail. Okay, so look at the method name, don't miss this capital case, otherwise I mean capital letter, otherwise it will get error, because this functional in PHP functions are case sensitive. So this is the method that we'll be using. It is find or fail. By that, what we are saying here, that if it's find the result from the database, it will give the result, otherwise it will fail. In case of fail, it will redirect the user to 404 page. Got it? We are trying to find this second number row from the database that doesn't exist, we already know. If I go here, refresh this page, look at here, we are not getting the exception anymore, but we are getting 404 page. Now this is way more suitable than previous one, because suppose user tried to delete something and he got this error. So for safety, for handle the exception, we can use this find or fail where we feel that it is suitable for us. Okay, so that's it. That's how you can delete your data from the database, and as well as you can handle the exception. So that's it for this video. Video is gotten really big, so sorry for that, but in this video we learned a lot, so I think it's worth it. So that's it for this video. I hope you understand, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Take care. Hello everyone. So in this video we'll be discussing about Eloquent Relationship. If you already worked with MySQL queries, you know that in MySQL query we have a query called joint, right? Via we can join two tables. So in Laravel, when we are using Eloquent query, it's called Eloquent Relationship. Via Eloquent Relationship, we can create relationship between two or more tables. Okay. So in Laravel, there are several types of relationship, like one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, many-to-many relationship, etc. So we'll be just covering the basic of the relationship, I mean most used relationship, like one-to-one relationship and the one-to-many relationship. There is another important relationship which is many-to-many relationship, but for now one-to-one and one-to-many is enough for us as we are a beginner. Okay. So in this video, we'll be specifically discussing about one-to-one relationship. Got it? So let's start our video. I'll be just closing this one. So in previously, we created a model which is block model, right? We can use that model for this video as well. Let me see. Let me open the database manager, and here is our table, which is blocks table. So in previously we added some columns here like ID, title, body, status, etc, right? So in here we have to add a new column, and obviously as we are working with relationship, we have to create another table, because we need two tables for make relationship happen, right? So currently in our database we have only one table, I mean we created only one table, which is blocks, and rest of these tables are basically the default table from Laravel. we'll be working with mainly our table. So we created a block table, so we have to first of all create a another table. Let's say I'll create a category table, because every block could have a category, right? So let's create. Then let's go to our code editor, and I'll create a migration. We already know how to create a migration, so let's go to terminal, and what I'll do is I'll create a model and migration. Okay, because we also need a model for handle our table, right? So we'll create a category model, as well as we'll create a migration for it. Got it? So let's run the php command, php artisan make colon model, and our model name will be category. Okay, now what we can do, as we know that this command will create a model for us, right? And we need a model, and as well as we need a migration also. So Laravel give you flexibility to create multiple files at the same time. Okay, so currently we are creating a model, so we can command Laravel that we need a migration also. So what it will do, it will create a model, and also it will create a migration for that model. Got it? So how can we do that? We specify our model name. Now I will add a flag here, dash m. Okay, m means basically m represent to migration. Got it? So what we are doing here, we are saying Laravel that create a model for us, and also create a migration alongside of it. Okay, so yeah, press enter, and you'll be seeing it created a model for us here, and it created a migration as well. Got it? Now let's check out the model first. So what is our models? All the models will go inside the models folder. Let's open the category. As you can see, here is our fresh model. Now let's go to our database folder, migrations, and here, as you can see, it created a migration automatically. Okay, we don't have to create the migration manually this time. When we created the model, and we pass the m flag, which represent to migration, as I said. So Laravel already know that we are trying to create a migration also with the model, so it created a migration as well. So look at the name, create categories table. So look at the table name. If I go here, here is our table name, it is plural, right? So Laravel is smart enough to understand that we are creating a model in singular form. This means the database table will be plural form. Got it? So yeah, it created the migration for us. Now let's put here some fields. Let's say I will add only single field for now, which will be a string, the varchar, as you know, the data type of our column. Now we have to define the name of the column, so it will be, let's say, name. In here we will hold the category name. That's all we have to do here. We'll only take one column in this categories table. Okay, now let's go to terminal and run the php artisan migrate. Enter, and as you can see, it migrated our file. Now if I double check it, let's go to database. I'll clash this one and refresh this database. Open it, and here, as you can see, we have a categories table. Open it. Here, as you can see, we have our column, which is name, and the id and created and updated that is basically the default column from Laravel. So yeah, our new table has been created. Right, now we have to create a relationship between blogs and category, because as I said, every blog will belongs to a category, right? If you view a blog site, you know that there are many categories in a blog site, like sports, it can be sports, tech, and etc. So all the posts, if you click on tech, it will show you all the tech related posts, right? So how are they doing it? They created a relationship between the post table, or you can say blog table, and category table, and they wrote some queries. By that, depending on the category, they are fetching the post. Okay, For now, as we are working with one-to-one relationship, so first of all, we will be creating a relationship between blocks to category. That means in blocks table, we will add a foreign key field. Now, if you don't know about what is foreign key field is, let me give you a context. Basically, a foreign key is a column or a set of column in a database table that refers to the primary key of another table. Okay, so as we are trying to create a relationship between block to category, so we have to add some sort of identifier into our this table, right? By that we can understand which this categories belongs to. So what we can do is we can create a separated, we can create a new column here which will hold the category ID. If I go to categories table, you know that we have a category ID column. We have a ID column. If I go to categories here, as you can see, we have this ID column which will generate a new ID when we will add a new data here, and ID will always be unique, right? So we will store the category ID in our every blocks. So when we will create a block, we will store a category ID, that which category this block belongs to. I hope you are getting my point. So that column that we will create for hold the ID of the category ID, it will be a foreign key column. As I said, that foreign key column basically refers to the primary key of another column. So we will store the category ID, which is another column, another table, and we will store that table's ID into our block table. So we have to create a foreign key column. Got it? So that's mean we have to little bit make some changes into our blocks table. Okay, let's do it then. Let's open the migration of our blog. So let's open this migration, which is create blocks table. Here is our migration file, right? So here after the boolean field, or we can add it after the ID field. Actually, after the ID field, I'll paste it. So now what we will do, we will create a field, or you can say we will create a column that will hold the foreign keys, right? So in Laravel, we can create easily foreign key columns by the method which is foreign ID, because in here in this field we'll be holding the. So in here what we have to do, we have to add our column name. So our column name will be, let's go to database. So we'll create a relationship between blocks and categories. So there is a naming convention of Laravel when we try to create a relationship. So in the blocks table, we need a column where we will store the category ID, right? So the column name will be category underscore ID. Okay, let me show you. Let's go here. As we will create a relationship from our blocks to category, so the field where we will store the category ID, the column name will be category underscore ID, the singular form of the table name, and it will we have to end with underscore ID, because we will hold ID in this field. Got it? It's totally fine if you want to add anything here, anything you desire, but it will cause some issue when we will make our relationship happen. We have to pass this ID, this foreign key, as a parameter in the relationship, or if we follow this convention from the Laravel, we don't have to do it, because Laravel will automatically resolve our relationship in that case. Okay, so for make our process faster, we will always follow the Laravel convention. Let me give you again a short recap how it will work. Currently we are at the parent table. Suppose this is our parent table, which is blocks, and we want to create a relationship to category table, right? And for that we have to store the category ID of the block in the block table. So in this foreign key, we will be storing the category ID. So we know that we will be storing in this field only the category ID, and also we have a category table for it, right? And look at the name of the table. It is categories. As I said, all the database tables name is basically in plural. right? So what we are doing here, we have to come up with a name, right? Column name. So what we are doing, we are following the Laravel convention. Laravel says that if you are trying to create a relationship between two tables, and in our case, yes, we are trying to do it, and we have defined a foreign key field. Now we have to add a name of the foreign key, foreign key field. So in Laravel, what we have to do is you have to put the database name that you are trying to create the relationship with, like category, and you have to put the name in plural form, right? So in the database we have it categories, we are calling it category, okay? And then we have to end it end it with underscore id, because we will be holding id, or you can say we will be saving category ids in this field. Okay, so Laravel will automatically understand what we are trying to do. Okay, after that we added the foreign key method here. Now we have to indicate the referral table name. Okay, so we'll create a relationship with our the categories table. Got it? So what we will do, we will call another method, we will chain another method which is constraint. Okay, in the constraint we will pass our table name. Got it? Let's go at the manager, db manager. Here, as you can see, our table name is in plural, which is categories. This time we have to put the actual table name, which is categories. Got it? So our foreign key field is ready. Okay, this can be a little bit tricky, but you got the point. Okay, even though we can use here integer field, because we will be basically storing category id, which is basically a integer end of the day. But if we use foreign key instead of a integer, there are ton of benefits of it, like it will prevent lots of error. So we'll be discussing about this more deeply when we will work with the project. For now, just understand we need a foreign key field in our table, and we created it. Okay, and also we you got the idea about naming convention as well. Okay, yeah. So now what we have to do, we have to migrate this table, right? So as our all tables has been already migrated, so I'll be just using migrate fresh for just delete all of my data and remigrate all of the tables. And make sure you don't have any kind of important data into your database. I already told you that if we use php artisan migrate fresh, it will erase your all the data from the database and it will remigrate all of your tables. Okay, or you can say it will dump all of your data and again remigrate the tables, right? In that case you will lost all of your necessary data. So currently in my database there isn't any kind of necessary data, so I'm just using this fresh command, so which will just delete everything and remigrate my files. Okay, so I made a typo here, it will be fresh. Okay, so it is dumping all the database. Okay, so we are getting exception. Let me see what is the issue. Okay, so look at here, our this migration is failed. Our blog table is not migrating now. It is because of this column that we just added here. Okay, so it is trying to migrate this file, this block file, but in here we have a foreign key which is basically referring to this categories table, but there isn't any kind of category table, because look at here, look at this file serial. Okay, so what Laravel is doing, it is executing this migration one by one, like this 1 2 3 4 5. But when it is executing this one, it is trying to migrate this file, we have this foreign key in it which is referring to a table that doesn't exist, because after migrating this file it will migrate the category table, right? It's kind of obvious. It is executing everything ascending order. So that's the reason it is giving us this error that fail to open referral table categories. Got it? So we have to fix it. What we have to do, we have to execute the category migration first. After that we have to execute the block category. So how can we do that? It have a simple solve. Basically what we can do is we can change this time. As you can see, we have a date here. Look at here, we have a date, our current date when we created the migration, and we have the time, right? So we created the block table first, then we created this category table. That's why the block table is at the top of the category table. At the last we created the category table, that's why it is at the last, right? So we can change the time as our date is correct 17, but there is a changes in time. You can also change the date, is totally fine. You have to just do what we have to do is just we have to put this file before the block migration. Let me make it a little bit big. Okay, so what I'll do is I will just rename this file. So in here we have 54809, in here we have this 92635. So what I can do here, I can add here a 1. Okay, so we change the time, though it's not human readable time, so it's totally fine. We are adding a value greater than this previous one. Add it. Now look at here, our category is at the first, the blog is after that. Okay, now what Laravel will do, when the Laravel will execute this file one by one, it will first execute this categories table. After that it will execute the block table. So now when it will try to create this table row, the column, it will find this referral table, which is category, because it will already has been migrated in our database. Okay, so let me check it again. Then let's go here and let's run the migrate fresh command again. Okay, so now as you can see, we executed the migration without any kind of issue. All is well now. Okay, so that was a long run. Now let's focus on the relationship itself. Our database is ready, everything is ready. We added the foreign key for our category. Now what we have to do, I'll be adding some dummy data into my database, because otherwise we will be knowing we will not know that if the relationship has been established or not, right? Okay, so let's put some dummy contents. Before that we have to obviously refresh this page. Okay, look at here, I'm currently viewing the blogs table. Here we have a category ID, and if you are using the DB manager from Laravel, you will see here some stuff like this. Okay, and if you go to indexes, from here you will find this is the primary key. Basically this is our ID, which is our primary key, and we have another one which is the block category ID foreign. Basically this is our foreign key index, and this is basically the foreign key. This is not a ordinary column, this is a foreign key. That's why we have these icons here. It is representing that this table is, this ID is connecting to another table's ID. Okay, you can look here, we have icon here as well. Okay, so everything is done. Now let's add some data. First of all, we have to create some categories, because now as we have a foreign key inside our block, that's mean in this category ID we have to add ID every time when we will try to create a block, right? Currently if we don't have any kind of block, if I try to add any kind of data here, if I click on plus button and let's add here category ID, as you can see it is coming as a select box. I cannot edit it, it is working like a select box, but it is empty because there isn't any kind of data into our category table. Got it? If I add here some data into the title, subtitle and the status and try to save it, it will give a error that field category ID does not have a default value. So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go to category. I can okay, this one. Now we have to create some top categories, right? So let's click on this one and let's click on plus, and what I'll do, I will add here a new category, let's say tech. Okay, that's all. Let's create another one. Then this one will be sports. Okay, and say a third one will be education. Okay, so we created 3 categories here, and click anywhere you like, it will save the all the datas. Okay, so we have our categories, and here is our primary keys of this table. Okay, we'll be storing this id into the blogs. Got it? Okay, now let's go to blog. We have this category id. Now let's click on plus icon. So first of all, let's select a category. If I now double click here, as you can see here, I can see some options. Now these all are category. Here is the category ids, and here is the categories itself. Then let's say let's create a post or a blog with this tech category. I selected it. Let's add a title here. We can add here, let's say this is a tech blog. We can add it in the body as well and make it status 1. Let's add another one. Let's put it here. Let's select another category, sport, and we can, sorry, we have to add here, this is a sports category post, something like this. You can add anything you want, just we have to identify that our relationship is working or not. Make it 1. We can create another one. Let's create another post with the same category, which is tech. Okay, we can call it this is another tech category. Just copy everything from here, paste it here. Sorry, we have to put here the value 1. Okay, so we added some dummy contents here in the blocks table, and also we added the related referring IDs here. So this blog belongs to this category, which is 1. So if I go to the categories table, as you can see, the 1 is basically the tech category. So yeah, now via this category ID, now we can create a relationship between these 2 tables, right? And let's see how can we do that. Let's go to code editor. Now we'll be establishing our relationship in model. Okay, because model will handle as we know that model handles all of the database connection stuff and other stuff. Got it? So all the relationship that we have to define, we will define in the model itself, right? So now we'll be creating a relationship between blog and category. Got it? So how can we do that? Open the blog model. As you can see, here is the blog model, and here what I'll do is I'll create a method. It will be a public method, and you have to provide the method name. Basically the method name will works like a relationship name. Got it? So let's say as we will create create relationship between blocks and category, that means we can fetch category names or category information from our block table. So our relationship name should be category. Okay, let me give you another hint. Like currently in the blocks table, we have only the category IDs. We don't have the category name. Suppose we fetch the blogs. Now we want to fetch the category name. Suppose I fetch the blogs here, and I like to show the category name for each blocks, but currently we have only category ID of the category, but we don't have the name. So that means we have to access the category table and we have to grab the name of the category. Got it? So for that we'll be using relationship. Okay, now let's remove this portion. Now what kind of relationship we will work with? Just think practically. Every block can have only one category. Okay, you cannot add multiple category in a single block. It doesn't make any sense. If a blog post is related to tech, so the category should be tech. If it's related to blogs, so the category will blog, right? So that's mean every post can have only one blog. So that's how we know that which relationship we have to choose. We have to choose one-to-one relationship because one post have only one category. Okay, now before adding the relationship in Laravel, there is two type of one-to-one relationship. One is has one relationship, one is belongs to relationship. Got it? Now how you will know that which relationship to use? Look at here. Now we have our post. Suppose I will fetch this post. Okay, now we need to know which category this post belongs to, right? And in this post we have a category ID, right? We store the category ID here, and this category ID refers to a category inside the categories table. Okay, or we can see it like that this category ID belongs to a category. Okay, you're getting my point. Just focus on my words. In the category ID, we're storing the ID of the categories, right? And we know that this category ID is basically the ID of the category. That's mean we can say it like that. This one category ID 1 belongs to a category inside the categories table, which is this one, right? So that's how you can find that what kind of relationship you want, because you can say that this ID belongs to a block, so it will be a belongs to relationship. Got it? And if we think it reverse way, that means if I want to access the post from a category, let's say I have the category only and I want to find all the categories related to tech inside the blocks folder. I want to fetch all the tech blocks depending on the category. Now what you are thinking that how it will work. Now in that case we have to create a reverse relationship. Got it? Reverse relationship means in this table we don't have any kind of reference ID, but we have a reference ID of this table in our blocks table, right? So in that case we will call it has many relationship. I mean in the blocks table we have many, I mean this category, tech category can have multiple posts, right? So in that case we have to create has many relationship, because this tech can have many posts into the block table, right? So we are going into the has many relationship right now. Let's just try to stay on one-to-one many relationship. In the next video we'll be working with the has many relationship. For now just understand this IDs basically belongs to categories table, or you can say via this ID every post belongs to a specific category. So that's why we'll be using belongs to relationship. Got it? Just remove everything, and from here I will add return this, and we will call belongs to, which is a method. By that we are referring that we have to establish a belongs to relationship, and inside here you have to just put your model that you are trying to create a relationship with. So we are currently at the blocks blocks model. That's mean we are trying to create a relationship with category model. So add here category, enter. Make sure you put the model name right. After that colon class. That's all you have to do to establish a one-to-one relationship. Now if you are new, okay, I made a typo here. Okay, as I was saying, if you are new, relationship can be little bit tricky, but you have to practice it. Okay, just code alongside with me, and by practice and a little bit concentration you will understand the full concept how it's working. Okay, and also you will get a better idea when we will work with our real projects. Okay, so don't need to worry. For now just do as I am doing. Got it? So we created the relationship. Now we have to test it that it's working or not. Fine, let's go to our code editor again. Now our model part is done, migration part is done, so I'll just close all of them. Okay, now we can work with the controller side, because we need some we need to see our responses, right? So this also are basically our old codes, so I'll be just comment them out here. Let's say I want to fetch all of the datas from the block table. Blog is equals to, we know how to fetch them, blog, call the model, we can call this all method, and I will just return the block. Okay, and this line. Let's go to our front end, where it is, not here, this one. Okay, so we are at the blog URL, as you can see, slash blog, enter. And here, as you can see, we are getting a JSON object with all of our post. We have this, all the post, as you can see, we have ID, we have the category ID here, title and other stuff. Good. Now suppose in here we have the category ID, right? Now we need the category name. We have only the category ID, but we want to know that each post belongs to what category. Okay, via the category ID, the user cannot guess which category this post is belongs to. So as we created a relationship, that's mean from our this table, I mean this model, the blog model that we are using here, from this blog model we can access the category table as well. So if I try with a single data, let's remove this all, I will add here find, let's put here 1. So I will take the first data from the blog. Let's go here, refresh this page. So we are getting only one data. Look at here, we have ID, we have category ID and some data here. Now in the category ID, so we are getting the category ID. Now I need to know the name of the category. Okay, so as we have the ID here, which is a foreign key, and also we establish a relationship between the post table and category table in our this blog model. Sorry, not post table, it is blog table, right? We created a relationship with blog table to category table, right? You can also call it blog model and category model, is totally fine. Here is our relationship. Got it? Now as I was saying, we are trying to access the name of the category. So how can we do that? Let's go here at the controller side. So what I can do is I can access the relationship from here, or I can break down it here. I can call the blog, from the blog instance we can access now the model, the relationship that we created, which is category. Okay, so we created the relationship into the blog model, right? Here it is basically a method, so via the object orienting we can access that method. Here we have instance here of the blog, then what we'll do, we'll call the category. Okay, in this line. Now if I put it into a variable, let's call it category is equals to, and I will put the category variable here. Let me see what happened here. Refresh this page. Look at here, we are not getting the blocks anymore, we are getting a single category, which is tech. And from here now we can access the name of the category. We can call the name because we have a name column. Refresh this page, you will see we're getting tech here. Cool, right? And why we are getting that? We're getting that because of our relationship. If I refresh it again, so currently I'm dumping this one, the blog. Okay, now here as you can see, in this portion we have all the details about our blog. Look at here, now we have a new entry here, which is category, right? Because here we are accessing the category, I mean we are accessing the relationship. So when we are just echoing or returning this blog object, it is giving us the category as well as the category, right? So our category ID is 1. Look at here, via the relationship now we can access the category 1, right? Now it is when we are returning our blog, it is giving us the post, or you can say blog, and the category also, right? Now if we want to access the category name, we can just add it here. Got it? I mean we can just access this name, right? So our relationship has been established. Okay, now this is for the single data. We are first of all grabbing a row and we are accessing the relationship of the category. Now let's try to add here all again. I will add all in this line. If I now go here, refresh this page, it will show a error. Here as you can see, it is showing property does not exist in the collection instance. I'll be just removing it. Okay, now if I go here, refresh this page, we're getting all of our blog posts. Now I want that from the blog post, when we will fetch all of the blog posts, I want to fetch the corresponding categories of the blog post also, because we have the relationship, right? So suppose we need the category names and other stuff also, I mean category table data. So when I will fetch every post, with the post we will get the category also. So how can we do that? We have a concept called eager loading in Laravel. Okay, that's mean when we fetch a data from the database, if we want, we can fetch the relational data as well with it. Okay, so currently we are only fetching the data. Now we want to fetch the categories alongside with it. So for that, there is a function which is, or you can say method, which is with. Okay, which will eager load your relationship. So when we will fetch all of our data, it will fetch the relationship data also. So obviously you have to put here the relationship name. So if I add here our relationship name, which is category, paste it here. Okay, so this will eager load our this relationship. If I go here, refresh this page, so in here it is giving us an error because we cannot use this all method here. We have to get it. Okay, because all is a static method and we cannot use it like a chaining way, as we are adding a method here before all. That's mean we have to use this time get, because we'll be getting everything. Got it? Let's go here, refresh this page. Look at here, now we are getting our post, we are getting the corresponding or relational category with it. Look at here, the category ID of this post is 1. So and now we are eager loading it, so that's mean it is eager loading our category relationship, and here as you can see we are getting the category. Look at the category ID, it is 1, and our this category post category ID is 1. If I see this one, look at here, the category ID is 2, so it fetches the category of 2. Okay, if I go here, look at here, this one, the category ID is 1, so it fetches the category with it. So it is basically with the objects. Look at here, so we are getting 3 objects from our database. In here we have the blog and the blog category with it, right? So that's it. This is all about the one-to-one relationship. Got it? Now we can access the category if we want. If we want, even we can also fetch our post also. Okay, let me give you a little bit more information about it. Like if you just want to fetch the categories, so that's mean as it is giving us a collection, what I can do, I can add here as blocks, and we can run here a for each loop. Okay, let's put here blocks as blog. Okay, now from the blog, obviously we can access now all of our attributes. Like if I want to access the title, do we have the title? Let me see, we have title. Yeah, so title. Okay, and we can echo the title here actually. So let's end this here. Got it? Let's go, let me see, it is giving us an error here. Okay, so fixed. Refresh this page, and here as you can see we're getting all of our post title, though it is not looking good. We can add here echo br, so it will give us a break here. Refresh. Look at here, we're fetching only the titles. Okay, only the block title. Now if I want to show the category with the title as well, so what we can do here is we can concat, let me add here a string. Okay, let's concat this string with the category name. So from the blog, sorry, not here, blog, we can access the category relationship, category, and from the category we can access the name of the category. Got it? Now if you go here, refresh this page, look at here, we're getting our title of the blog and also the category name. Here is the title of the blog and here is the category, which is top sports, and for this one it is tech, right? So how powerful it is, you can see, right? So currently we created a relationship between two tables. It can be 3, 4, 5, 6. It depend on your architecture of your database. I mean, how you design your database. So that's it, and that's all about the one-to-one relationship. And that's it for this video. I hope you understand, and I'll be seeing you at the next one. Take care. Hello everyone. So in this video we'll be working with one-to-many relationship. So in previously we learned about one-to-one relationship. Now let's work with the one-to-many relationship. So let's open the database manager by I mean. So in previously we added a foreign key into the block table. Right here, as you can see, we have a category ID which is our foreign key, and every ID is referring to a row into this category table. Okay, now in previously we access category from blog. If you recall, if I go to my code base, if I uncomment this one where we added our code for one-to-one relationship. So in here what we are doing, we are looping our these blogs, and also here eager loading the category. Then from the blog, from the blog model, we are accessing the category name, right? So we are accessing category name from the blog. Now suppose we are at the category side. Okay, now in previously I said that a single, or you can say a blog post, can have a single category, right? But if you think from category perspective, so suppose you have a category and you want to find all the posts in the blocks table that have this category ID in it. Okay, so in that case we cannot establish a one-to-one relationship, because we have a multiple blog post into the block table who have a category. Suppose we let's select this tech category. Okay, so in the blog post block table, there can be several tags post with this same category ID, right? If I go to blog page, blog table, here as you can see we have all of our blogs, right? Look at here, we have 3 data, right? In the category ID we are storing the ID of the category. At the first one we have the category ID 1. If I go to categories table, as you can see for the ID 1 we have this tech category, right? So that means this post belongs to tech category. Then after that we have ID 2. If I go to category, it is sports, so that means this post belongs to sports category, right? And at the last we have again ID 1, which is tech category. So these two posts belongs to a same category, right? So that means this category have multiple posts in the blocks table. That means we cannot establish a one-to-one relationship, because this one category could have multiple posts in the block page. Why I'm saying block page, block table. So that means this time we have to create a one-to-many relationship, because a single category can have many posts. Got it? So a single category can have many posts into the block table. Okay, so that's why we cannot use any kind of one-to-one relationship in here. If we have a ID and we want to fetch the post depending on the category ID, okay, we have to create a one-to-many relationship. We have a one category and we want to find all the category all the category that have the same category ID in them. So we have to create a one-to-many relationship. Got it? Let me show you. Let's go here. So previously we was doing like this. I will just comment it out. Let's add here. Now previously we were selecting stuff from blog model. Now we'll be not doing it. Okay, we'll be now targeting our category model, because from the category we will create a relationship between category to blog. Okay, via category we will find all the vlogs that category that is belongs to that category. Okay, let's add here category is equals to, let's call the category model category, and we will find, or you can say we will select a row. Let's go here. Let's say I will select take 1, so its ID is 1, so let's put here 1. Okay, now I can just die dump or return this one. So for now, let's die dump this one, category, enter. Let's go to our front end. Here it is. Refresh this page, and as you can see, we are getting our data. If I open the attribute here, as you can see, we have the selected data. Here is the ID, name of the category, and some other stuff. Instead of die dumping, I can use return. It will be more visually appealing. Then let's paste it here in this line. Let's go here, refresh this page. So we just remove all the unnecessary data from here. Here we are seeing only the attributes. Okay, we have the ID and the category name. Now, as I was saying, now what if you want to fetch all the posts of this category? Okay, and as we know that all of our blog posts are inside blog table. Got it? All the posts are inside the blog table, and blog table have this unique row, which is the foreign key in the blog table, where we are storing the ID of the category. Okay, so that's mean we have the category ID in the blogs table. So via that ID we can create a relationship and we can fetch all the necessary data we need. Okay, so as I said, we'll be creating a one-to-many relationship. So let's go to model. So as we are using the category model, so we have to create a relationship inside the category model. Okay, it will be same. I'll take a public method which will be let's say blogs. Okay, I am calling the method plural because a category can have multiple blogs, right? It will always return you a collection, not a single data. Got it? So I am calling it blogs. Now we have to define the relationship. Is then now here is a question. There is in Laravel two type of relationship, one-to-many relationship. One is has many, and second is belongs to many. Okay, so which one we will use in this case? If I go to database again, look at the category. This category can have multiple posts in the blogs table, right? So you can guess that what kind of relationship will be appropriate for this criteria. Yes, has many, because as I'm saying that this category can have multiple posts in the blog table. Okay, so for this one we'll be using has many relationship. Got it? Okay, let's go here. Let's call has many. Then we will add the model name, which is blog class. That's all we have to do. Got it? So our relationship is established. Okay, we don't have to do anything else. We can just call this relationship and everything will work like a charm because everything is set now. Okay, now let's go to controller again. We are getting the category. Now how can we get the blogs from the category? Let me show you. From here, as we created a method, or you can say relationship, into our model, and here we have our model instance. Okay, so from here what we can do, we can access the relationship, which is blogs. Okay, now if I go to front end, look at here, we are returning this data. Okay, let's go here, refresh this page. Okay, so we are getting an error. Obviously I forgot to return the relationship, so we have to return the relationship. We're inside the method, right? If we don't return anything here, so obviously it will throw an error. Now if I go here again, refresh this page, look at here, we're getting two posts. This is the post, and how we are grabbing those posts? We're grabbing the post now from the category. Okay, from the category model we're grabbing the blogs, because we have a relationship, we have the access to the blog post table via that relationship that we created into the model. Okay, we used the has many relationship here. That means we are telling Laravel that we have many posts into the blog table. Okay, So it's working fine. Look at here, category ID is 1 for this post, and for this one it is also 1. If I change the ID, let's say if I go here again, okay, so in the controller, if I make it 2 instead of 1 now, if I go here, refresh it, we're getting only 1 data right now. Look at here, the post ID is 2. If I go to database and if I open the categories, here as you can see, for 2 number ID is for the sports category. If I open the blocks table, look at the category ID column, here we have 1 2 1. So for second category we have only 1 post, that's why we are getting here the 1 post here. Got it? Okay, so now let's try to eagle load our stuff. So I will return this category again instead of accessing the relationship. Let's go here, refresh it. So as you can see, we are getting only the category right now, right? Now what I want, when I will hit the category, it will also fetch the corresponding post for that category also, so we can eagle load the category. So we already know how to eagle load the relationship. We can use with. Okay, in with we will define our relationship, which is blogs. Got it? So we are eagle loading the blogs when we will grab our category. Let's go here. Look at here, we are currently only getting the category details. If I refresh it, you will find that we are getting the blog alongside with it. Okay, in the same object we are getting a array here which is blog, which contain the blog, or blog post of this specific category. Let's go here. If I add here 1 and let's go back, refresh this page, you'll be seeing for tech category we have 2 blogs right now. Okay, so that's it. That's how the has many relationship work, or you can say one to many relationship work. So there is another relationship, reverse relationship, which is belongs to many relationship. If I go to here, which is this one, right? This is called reverse relationship of the has many relationship. So for now, just understand the has many relationship, which is one to many relationship. Use case of the belongs to relationship is totally depend on the circumstances. If you have to use the belongs to relationship, you have to use the belongs to relationship. So in our case, we don't have to use the belongs to relationship because we are trying to access the blogs from our category. So one category can have multiple blogs, so it is one to many relationship, and we don't have any kind of reference here, reference ID here. So this IDs, basically this primary IDs belongs to nothing actually, but in that case we are using has many relationships. So we are trying to say to Laravel that we have some post into the blocks table. In the blocks table we have the reference key of our category, so we can establish a relationship because we have the category ID here. So that's it for this video. For beginner, that is enough for you. We'll be exploring more about this relationship stuff in our upcoming videos, or you can say future videos. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you understand, and I'll be seeing you at the next one. Take care. Hello everyone. So from this video, we'll be start working with Laravel form validation and form handling. First of all, we'll be learning about what is form validation, how to validate forms with, form inputs with Laravel. Okay, after learning the validation part, we'll be jumping into the handling part because we have to handle the user's data after the validation. We'll be learning how to handle those data and save those data into the database. Okay, so mainly in this video we'll be just working with a form. We will just create a form design, because if we want to work with the validation part and data handling part, obviously we'll be needing a form, right? So in this video we'll be just design the form, and in the next video we'll work with the validation part. Okay, so before jumping into code, let's discuss about what is validation actually mean. So Laravel validation is a feature provided by the Laravel framework that allows you to validate incoming data from user inputs or other sources. Okay, it helps ensure that the data meets certain criteria or rules before it passed further. Laravel provides a convenient and expressive syntax for define those validation rules, and we'll be discussing about those validation rules in our next video. In this video, let's create a form for our upcoming video. Okay, so yeah, we can just close this up. Now let's see, let's open the resource folder and views folder. Here, if you know that we already created a layout folder, right, which is master layout, so we can use this one as our master blade. Okay, right. So first of all, what I'll do is let's say we will create a block type of feature. Okay, we will have a page where we will have a form, right? In there we will add the block title, block description, and status. And also we can add a category fields also, because we already created some controllers models for block, if you recall, in our previous videos, and we can reuse them. Okay, so let's do that. Do it then. Let's create a new folder in the views folder. In the views folder, let's say I'll create a block folder. Got it? So I created a block folder. So in the block folder, I'll create a new file. Let's say the file name will be create.blade.php. Okay, so I created a blade file here. Now if you recall, in our layouts video, or you can say in our views video, where we will learn about these blade files and how to master a blade file and how to create a layout and use it, right? So in that video we created this master blade, which is the master layout. We was using it as a master blade. We was extending this master blade, and we are just changing the dynamic content of the website, right? So this time we'll be doing the same, but I'll be just removing some unnecessary codes like navbar and footer. We don't need them, so let's remove this navbar. Let's remove this footer as well from here. Okay, now what I can do is, let's go to create blade. So first of all, what we have to do, you know that if we want to use this master as our base file or parent file, we have to extend that master blade. Okay, we'll extend that master blade, and we will add a section tag which will render our this page as a section here in this yield. Got it? So let's go to create blade, and I will extend this master. So let's add the extends directive, sorry, and we have to add the path. So the path will be layouts master, layouts dot master. As you can see here, we're getting the underline. This means our path is right. Now after that, what we have to do, we have to add here section directive, and our section name was content. If I go to master blade, so here as you can see, the section name is content. I mean, in the yield we added this key, so we have to use this key here in the section for render the HTML that we will put here inside this yield. I mean here. Got it? Let's go here and let's end it in section. Okay, now here we can put our HTML. So in our case, as I said, we'll be working with the form, so I'll create a basic form here. Got it? And for little bit beautification, we can include Bootstrap here. So what I'll do is, I'll go to browser and search for Bootstrap CDN. Okay, we have this link. Open this one. Okay, so we have Bootstrap 5 CDN here. So just copy this one, the CSS, and where we have to add the CSS, obviously into the master, because we are extending the master, and basically CSS and JavaScript is repeated code, right? And we already know that all of the repeated code we will try to add into the master. And also in the master blade we have the doc type HTML and the body, right? So in the head we have to add the CDN. So I will add link in the href. I'll paste the CDN code here of the CSS, Bootstrap CSS. Now what we have to do, we have to put the JavaScript at the bottom of our body. So let's go back here, and here is the JavaScript. Just click on it, it will copy it. So before the body ends, we will add here script src and put it here. Got it? It will load the bootstrap via CDN. So we included the CDN into our project, right? Now this means we can use now bootstrap classes into our this file, because we are extending the master. That means the CSS, this JavaScript is now available into our this page also. Got it? Okay, now let's go to again at the browser, and I'll be searching for bootstrap from. Let me find a form from here. We'll be just copy pasting stuff. Okay, so here as you can see, we have a basic form, totally basic. So I can just copy this one, just copy this scaffolding, or you can say codes, and I paste it here, right? Okay, now what you have to do, suppose our HTML is done, our view file is done. Now we have to return this view. Okay, let's open the terminal. So let's open the terminal here. Okay, so I'm inside my project. Is it? Yeah. Now I'll run php artisan route list, and as you can see, it is giving us the route list. And in previously we already added a resource route for the blog. As you can see, these all are basically the blogs route. Okay, so in here we have a create route for create a entry, and we'll be using a create route for show our form. Got it? Let me find it here. As you can see, here is the create route, not this one actually. This is the store route, this is the create route. Look at here, look at the name of the route. It is block.create. So this route will help us to create a block. Okay, similar to this we have block show. So you can just say by the name, this block route will show, help us to show the block. Okay, then we have the block update. So we can use this route for update the block. We have block destroy, which will be used for delete the block. We have block edit, where we can show the edit page of the block. Got it? Okay, so as I said, we'll be working with the block create. So look at here, the block name is the route name is block create, and it is basically calling this create method from the block controller, right? So that means we have to open the block controllers. Let's open the app http. Let's open the controller, and here is the block controller. So here in the index method we did some sort of codings already, and we don't need them currently. I will just comment it out for now. Scroll a bit and you will find this create method. If I show you again at the route, when anyone will hit this route block/create, so Laravel routing system automatically will trigger, not this one, this method from the block controller, which is create method. Got it? So in the create method, what I'll do, from the create method I will return the view that we created, because I want that when I will hit this route block create, it will show me a create form, or you can say block create form. From there I can create a block. Okay, so let's go here, and as usual call the helper function, which is view, and inside the views folder we have block folder. Inside the block folder we have this create file, right? So just put it in this line. Good. Now that's when we will hit this route now block create, it will give us a form. Let's check it. Let's go here at the project. I will add /block/create, enter, and here as you can see we're getting the design. And as you can see inputs are looking good because we are using bootstrap now, but I like to add here some sort of card, and also I'll be putting here a container. So let's see, let's go to code editor, let's open the view. I'm at the create blade again. just cut it, add it inside a container, and card body, and inside the body just paste it here, cut it. So let's go at the front end, refresh this page now. Okay, so now it is looking decent enough, right? We have two inputs here, we have a submit button here. Okay, it's fine. Now we can add some additional inputs here. Obviously here we have a warning type of stuff. We will just remove this div, we don't need that here, and also we don't need a email, so I'll just remove this one. First of all, what we need, let's say we need the category. Remember we created a category model, if you recall, and also we did relationship with it, right? So first of all, I will add a category input here. Let's say category, got it, and instead of input field, what I'll do, I will add here select. Let's put here option. Obviously I'll put here a class as well, otherwise it will look ugly. We will put this class form control, so it will beautify it a little bit. Okay, let's say I will add here take for now. Let it be. We'll be making it dynamic later on. For now it's fine. Okay, if I go to front end, refresh this page now, here as you can see we have a select input, right? Fine. Now what I need is let's see, we have a checkbox. We don't need that one. We need a input. A text input is totally fine, because we have to add the form title, I mean the block title. So put the title here. I can remove this for portion. Type will be text, and I guess, yeah, let's go here, refresh this page. Okay, so we have a title field. Now I need a text area, because we need to add the block body, right? So we can call it body, you can call it description as well, it's totally fine. And let's remove this one. I'll just cut this portion from here, and let's add here text area. Got it. Now what I can do is I can add here a class, put the form control here, refresh this page, and here as you can see we have a text area here, right? So yeah, everything is looking great here. I can just put here some margin top, and let's go to here MT5. Okay, so it is looking decent. We can also add a heading here. From header, let's put here card heading, I guess it was create block. Let's go here at the front end, refresh this page. Okay, the class isn't a card heading, it was card header, I guess. Let's see. Okay, so in the card header we are getting this one. We can also add here h3, and we can call it create block. Okay, so our form is ready. So for now that is enough for us. And oh yeah, we need another select input, because we have a status field also into our database. I'll show you a little bit later on. Just copy our previous one, I mean previous field, select box, paste it at the end, and we will change the name to status. Got it? So status could be either show, copy this one, paste it here, hide, this type of stuff. Let's go here, refresh this page. So we have another select box here. So we took this field depending on our database fields. If I show you, if I go to my database manager, open this one, and here is my database, right? We already created a blocks table, right? If I open this one, look at the table list, I mean table column list. We have category ID. That's mean when we will create a database, not database, I mean blog, when we will click create a blog, we have to add the category ID. Okay, then we have the title, so that's why we took a title field here, right? After that we have the body, that's why we took a body field, and at the end we have this status field, so we created a status select box here. Okay, depending on the database table fields, we created our inputs. Got it? And here is the categories. Okay, so what we have to do is, in here as you can see we have this category field, right? So this tag is basically hard coded. We have to make this select input dynamic. We'll be fetching all this data, I mean category data here. Okay, if I go to data here, as you can see we have some categories here. Fine, so we'll be doing it in next video. That's it for this video. Our form is ready. In the next video we'll be just adding our necessary all the datas like form input names and other stuff. After completing it, we will jump into our validation part. First of all, we have to validate all of this input, then we will be handling this form. We'll be storing the data at the database. So that's it for this video. I hope you understand, and I'll be seeing you at the next one. Take care. Hello everyone, so in this video we'll be working with our validation part. In previously we completed our this create block form, right? Now we have to make some changes in this block. I mean we have to add some more info here, like we have to add the name of the inputs, because we have to catch those names from our controller side, or you can say from our PHP side, and we have to handle those, right? And also what I'll do, I will add here dynamic category. So let's do it then. Let's go to code editor, and I'm currently at the create blade inside this block folder, right? So first of all, let's add our categories. As you know that we have a category table and also category model into our project. If I open the database manager, here as you can see we have a categories table, right? In the categories table we have some data, so we have some dummy categories here, text, sports, education. So we have to fetch this category and we have to put the category in this field, because when we will create a blog we have to select a category. It's necessary. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to code editor first and let's open the blog controller, right? Now in the blog controller, let's go to browser again. Look at here, we are viewing this create route. So when we are hitting this route, it is giving us this form, because from this create method, as we know, when we will create hit this route, it will call this create method from the block controller. We saw it into the route, right? Let me show you again here. Okay, so when we will hit this route block slash create, it will hit this block controller create method. So it is doing it, and what we are doing here, we are returning the view. As we are returning the view, now what we have to do is, as we will make our this category field dynamic, we have to add here, fetch the dynamic categories. So as I already told you before, all of our business logic will go inside of our controller. Obviously we can add here PHP tag and fetch the categories at our view here, because this is a PHP file, right? If I show you here, if I put here the PHP directive, I already show you that we have a PHP directive where we can write any kind of PHP code into our blade file, right? Now here, if I add here a variable categories is equals to, now in previously we saw how to fetch data from the database via Eloquent, right? Now as we are inside a blade file, we are not inside a class, so we cannot just access the models directly here. In previously we saw inside the class we are calling blog like blog, and we are doing it like all, which will give us all the blogs, right? If I do it like this and go here and refresh this page, you will be seeing we are getting an error. It is loading. Here as you can see, it is giving us a error that class block not found. So what we have to do, we have to put here namespace, otherwise we will get the error. So our block namespace is backslash apps backslash module backslash block. Okay, so we are adding the full namespace of the class and we are calling the model, calling the block class, then we are calling this static method all, which will give us all of the blocks. Sorry, not the blocks, actually we need the category, right? Category. So it will give us the category. So why we are doing that? Because we are not inside a class, so we cannot import this class directly here, right? So we have to put the namespace here. So our namespace is app models category, because all of our model are inside this models folder. If I go here, as you can see, we have the models folder and here is the category. If I open this category class, here as you can see, this is our namespace app models. So what we are doing here, we added here app models, then we are calling the class. Now if I go here, refresh this page, you'll be seeing that we are not getting any kind of error. We're getting our view page, right? So that's mean this data is fetching. Now how can we check that? We can diagram this category. Now if I copy this one, paste it here, and let's go back, refresh this page. Look at here. Here we're getting this item array, and in the item we have our categories. Here is the tech category. If I open this one, open the attribute, here is the sport category, and we are getting all of the category. So that's how we can use we can write our query inside the view file, but this is a bad practice. As I told you, we are following MVC pattern, model view controller pattern. So in this architecture, all the business logic should inside in the controller. Okay, there will be some scenario where you have to use PHP codes directly inside your view, but that is exceptional. Okay, the best practice is put all of your business logic queries inside your controller. Okay, so what I'll do, I will just cut this portion from here. We'll be not using here, it will be adding this query into the controller. So let's go to controller, block controller. So here is the create method from where we are returning the view. Okay, so before returning the view, I can put the query here. Okay, and as we are inside a class, now we don't have to put here the namespacing. We can import this class at the top. So just import it here. Right now, if I go here and again diagram this portion, this class, this variable, actually put it here, and let's go to our front end again, refresh this page, and as you can see, we're getting the data again. We're dumping the data and we have all of our categories, right? So it is working exactly same. Now what we have to do, remove this one, let's go again at the front end, refresh, and as you can see, we're getting the form. Now our this categories variables, where we're storing all of our categories in the controller, right? But our view is a separated file, right? It is inside views folder. In the block folder we have this create.blade.php, right? So how can we access this category? If I try to access this category from our front end, let's go to category blade, and as it will give us a collection of a array, this query, as we know that it will send a collection because we are grabbing all the data from the database. So that's when we have to iterate this collection, or you can say we have to loop those collection for access all of the values. So what we can do is we can go to category, and here is the option, right? What I can do, I can copy this one, paste it again, and I will run a for each here. For each, we know how to run a for each in the blade. Categories, category, put it inside here. Okay, now if I try to go to my front end and refresh this page, as you can see, we're getting this error, categories variable undefined. Why we are getting this error? Because there isn't any kind of categories variable into our this page, right? We are adding our query into the controller, and the variable is inside the controller. Now what we have to do, we have to pass this variable into our front end, right? So from here, as you can see, we are returning the view. So when we will return the view, along the side we will pass this variable at the view as well. Okay, I think you got the idea. Now how to pass it into the front end? We have two methods to do that. So I'll be showing you the most convenient one. There is a helper function which is compact. Okay, in the compact you have to pass strings. Okay, you can only pass the string, you cannot pass the name, sorry, array. Okay, so you have to pass the variable name. Just copy the variable name and paste it here, and make sure you don't add the $sign at the first. We don't need that. I'm saying that you have to pass the variable name only. Got it? Now suppose you have multiple variable, in that case you can just add a comma and define your variable name here. Okay, it doesn't matter how much you add here, until you have the variables here you can pass it at the front end by separating the name of the variable via this comma. So now we are compacting our variable and passing it at the view. Look at here, in the first argument we are passing the path of the view, and in the second argument we are passing the compact. Got it? Compact value. Now if I go to front end, refresh this page, you will be seeing we are not getting any kind of error now. Why we are not getting the error? Because now our variable is available into our front end. If I open this category, look at here, we have so much text here. Got it? Because we didn't add the name. So let's go here. So currently we are just looping these options. We have to put here dynamic stuff, and also I can change this one to select. Okay, now as we are looping our categories, we can access the name of the category. So we already know how to echo a stuff into the blade file. We have to add curly braces, then category, we can call the name of the category. Got it? Let's go here, refresh this page. Look at here, when I open it, we are getting all of our categories: tech, sports, education, etc. So this is dynamic. Done. Now we have to move on to our next step. We have to assign names for every input. Got it? We have select box, so let's start with the select. We can call it category. Fine, you can add any kind of name you prefer, is totally fine. Then we have the title here, so here is the title input, so I will add a name here which will be title. After that we have this text area, let's put a name here as well. Okay, we have a name here, so it will be, let's say, body, and last one is the status, so this will be, let's say, status. Okay, and let's add some values, because in the status there will be only two options, one will be show, one will be hide. So if when we are creating a blog and if we want to hide that blog, by default we can select the hide and submit it. So by default the blog will be hidden at our front end. Got it? So this logic will work like this. And we know that in our database, basically if I open the blog, go here, and our status field is basically a boolean field, okay, which only can contain one value, so it can be 1 or 0. Got it? So for show we can add 1, and for hide we can add 0. So if our status value is 1, that's mean we will show the post at the front end, otherwise we will not show it at the front end if the status is 0. So yeah, our inputs and other stuff is ready. So our design is finally seems good. Okay, so I think I'll be wrapping up for this video because it's already been 10 minutes. So the validation part we'll be covering in the next video, because we just finished our design and naming part. Got it? So that's it for this video. I'll be seeing you at the next. Okay, so finally we'll be working with the validation part. In previously you completed this form, now we have some dynamic data here that we are loading. Then we also added the naming for all of our inputs, right? Now let's handle the form. I mean, we'll be first of all handling the validation part. Let's go to code editor, and here is our form in the create. I'm currently at the create blade in the block folder, this one, right? Here we have a form, and as you know that in the form obviously we have to add an action, because we have to add a path where this form will submit. Got it? So let's add here action. So obviously we have to add here the path of the action, I mean the route, and also I'll be just posting this form, so I have to declare the method as well. So method will be post. Got it? Now let's work with the action. We have to put here the route. So as we are using resource route, remember our controller is a resource controller. We have a resource route in the web for the blog, this one, right? Okay, so now if I go to terminal, so previously we was working with this block create route or URL, you might say, which is basically returning us the view of the blog, or you can say create page of the blog. Now we have to work with the storing route, because when we will submit this form, okay, so we'll be validating all of the inputs, then we will store this data into the database, right? So in the resource route we have a store route as well. Look at here, before the create route we have another route which is a post route. As you can see at the left hand side, we can see the method of the route. Okay, it is a post route and route name is blog store. So by this we can know that this route will be responsible for calling our store method of the blog controller. As you can see, when we will hit this blog route, I mean when we will send a post request to this blog route, it will call this store method from the blog controller. Got it? So we'll be using this one. Look at here, we have a name of the route also, which is blog store. Remember that we need this name. So let's go to code editor, let's go to create.blade.php. Here is the action. In the action I will add curly braces route, and we will put the route name that we saw here, which is blog store. Okay, so let's add here blog dot store. Got it? So we obviously we could have used here the URL. Here we have the URL also, which is blog, but it is more convenient and human readable if we use the route name. So by that a developer can understand, okay, so this is the blog store route, and developer go to the route list and find the blog store route, and it is corresponding method. As you can see, when we will submit a post request to this route, it will hit this store method. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's go to controller, and if I scroll a bit, you'll find after the create method we have a store method. Look at here the command, store a newly created resource in storage. Got it? So this will be the method that will handle the storing part of our form. Obviously we can add here the validation also. Okay, so for now what I'll do is I will diagram my all the form datas. And one thing here, if you noticed, we have here a class request. Okay, so what this request class does, basically this request class represents an HTTP request made to your application. It provides various methods and properties to retrieve and manipulate the incoming request data. That means the data that we will submit from our this create blade, okay, and it will submit to this route, right? And this route will call this method which is store, and via this class request class we can grab all those datas from the HTTP request. Got it? So now if you don't understand what we are doing here, basically it's called dependency injection, and now the dependency injection is an advanced topic. You don't have to worry about it for now. What you can do is you can just add the class. If you are using a resource controller, it's totally fine. Laravel will automatically add this class here. Otherwise, if you are just using a random or normal class, a basic class, and you want to handle the form data, you can just put the class inside of your method. Here in the brackets you will call request, and you have to import this request. As you can see here, look at the name spacing, it is illuminate HTTP request. In here we have several request classes, but don't import these ones. You have to import this one, illuminate HTTP request. VS Code is giving me the hint, so I'll click it and it will import this class at the top. If I go here, look at here, okay, we're using this class illuminate HTTP request. That's all. Now you have to create a variable here also, give it a space, and we can call it request. You can add any kind of variable here, is totally fine. I mean the name of the variable, but the right convention of the name of is request. Got it? So what Laravel will do, Laravel will automatically create a instance of this request, and it will pass the instance inside this method. So we can access this instance inside this method only. Got it? So you don't have to worry about it. Fine. Enough talking. Now let's add here diagram. We can put here request. Got it? Now let's go to our front end now. Here it is. Give it a refresh, and I'll be putting some data here, and I'll be using an extension for add the fake data, which called fake filler. You can search it on Google and install it if you need, or you can just fill the data by your hand, is totally fine. So I added some dummy data, as you can see here. Got it? Now let's click on submit. Let's see what happened. Okay, now we are facing an error. Look at here, we're getting 419 page expire. Okay, now why we are getting this error? Basically this is called CSRF error. Okay, I hope you already know about CSRF. Basically full form of CSRF is cross-site request forgery. Okay, so in Laravel, if you are creating any kind of post request or put request, in that case you have to pass the CSRF token with the post request, otherwise you will get this error. Because if you don't use CSRF token or CSRF in your form, there is high risk, or you can say high possibility, that your website can get hacked. Okay, so for prevent htaccess error, I mean attacks and some other attacks like SQL injection, so protect from this those attacks, we have to use CSRF into our form. Got it? So how to add a CSRF token into the form? It's quite easy. Let's go to createblade.php, and at the form, here is our form tag, right? So after the form tag, I will add here @CSRF. So Blade have the CSRF directive that you have to put here inside the form, and it will generate a CSRF token for you. Okay, and rest of the thing Laravel will handle automatically. You just have to put the CSRF directive inside your form, otherwise you will get this error 419. Let me check it again. Let's go to create page, refresh everything from here, and I will put here datas again and click on submit. Look at here, we are not getting the error. Now we are getting the data. Okay, so we are getting the entire request response, I mean request object, because in the controller, look at here, we are directly dumping the instance of the request, right? If I check out the request, obviously we will get our data here as well. Look at here, we have a file object here as well, we have the query object, then we have the request object. So if I open this one, we have a object here which contain 5 parameters. If I open this one, look at here, we have all of our data. Here we have a token. This is basically the CSRF token, as the token that I was talking about. This is generated by the Laravel. Then we have the category is nulls, fine. We have the title, we have the body, and we have the status. Got it? So we are getting our parameters. So if you just want to see only the parameters instead of all of the objects and other stuff, we can chain a method into this request instance, because as I said that this request class have multiple methods and objects that I mean properties that we can access for manipulate our request and change some stuff, right? So here is a all method, so it will only get the all input fields data, not the object data. Let's go here, refresh this page, click on send. Look at here, now we are getting only the array which is filled with only the data that we submitted from the front end. Got it? So yeah, we successfully getting all of our data at our controller side. Now we can start working with the validation part. Now we'll learn how to work with Laravel input validation. Let's see. Let's go to code editor, and as we know that we are getting our data, that's means we don't have to add the diagram here, just remove it from here. Okay, now how we will validate these inputs? Like the category is currently null, but category will be always required because in our database there is a field called category id, right? So in the category id we have to put the category id, right? We cannot leave that id empty, otherwise we will get a error. That means we have to make this field required, and we have the title, and in the title we are using string as our data type, or you can say varchar as our data type. This means varchar max length is 255. Got it? So if user add like 1000 line of text inside the title, it will broke our application, right? So we have to prevent it. We have to limit our string, I mean our letters, that user cannot add greater than 255 character. In that case user will get a error. Okay, and also we can add the validation for body, that body will be also required. Also we can add it for the status as well. Got it? So let's see how can we add validation. So for add the validation, always make sure all the validation have to be at the top of your method. You cannot add the validation after the saving data or anything. That doesn't make any sense. So at the first you have to add the validation. So for add the validation, we can call this, I mean this one, actually not this, request from just call this request instance. And as I said, we have some methods that we can take help from. So we have a method called validate. So from the request we are accessing this method which is validate, which is contain, I mean which will take a array. Let's put the array here. Okay, so I am putting the array. Now it takes a key and the value. In the key we have to put the name of the inputs that we are trying to validate, and at the value we have to add the validation rule. Got it? Now let's try to add here first of all, what was it? Category. Okay, if I go to create blade, you already know that we have an option, I mean select input, the name is category. First of all we'll be validating this one, so copy the name and put the name into the key of the array, add the arrow sign. After that we have to put here the validation rule. By I mean you can either use string. If I add a string here, so there are many validation rules available into the Laravel. Also you can create custom validation, but the regular validation or default validation are kind enough for us. Okay, so what we want this field required, so we can add here required, even though our VS Code is giving a hint of the rule. Okay, so this field is now required. Okay, now you want to add some more validation rules, like the category ID have to be a integer. It can't be a number, I mean text or anything, right? So if you want to add some more validation, I mean chain more validation, in that case what you have to do here, after the record you have to add a pipe sign. Okay, then you can add another rule, so it can be integer. So what I am doing here, what I am trying to say to Laravel, that this category inputs value should be required. So that means the user cannot submit the form if the category field is empty. Got it? That so that's why we added this required rule. That means this input field will be required, and also we are adding another rule for this same input, which is integer. So the value that is user trying to put here have to be a numeric value or integer value, otherwise we will get error or user will get error. Okay, so we can write the rules like this, or we can also do it like other way. If I remove this one, we can put here a array, a set of array, and the rules will be same. We can call here required and comma and add our next rule, which is integer. I prefer to use this array method. It is really convenient, but also you can use the string method as well, so it will work the same. Okay, now let's validate the second one. We validate the first one, so for now just add the validation, then we will show it at our front end. Got it? Let's go to create blade again. We completed the validation for this portion, I mean this input. After that we have the title, so here is the name of the field. So I put it here a comma because we are inside an array, right? So put here the key of the array, which will be the input name, title. Now we have to add the validation rule. What kind of validation rule we want to put it here? So title will be also required, and as I said, title is a varchar data type, so that's mean we have to add a max length. This is really necessary when you are using varchar. Make sure you always validate that input, otherwise suppose a user add some characters greater than 255, so it will throw a error, because in, as you know, that the max length of the varchar is 255 characters, right? So in Laravel, how can we validate the string count, I mean the character count? We have a max route, I mean not the route, rule. Okay, you have to put here max colon, then you have to put the value, how much value you want to validate. So I can add here 255. That's mean user cannot input value or letters greater than 255. Got it? So it will do the job. Also we have minimum character, also we can add minimum rule. So it is min similar, not mix, it is min colon, and you have to add the value. So let's say the minimum character have to be 2. Got it? Okay, so we added a maximum value and a minimum value, I mean minimum validation rules. So this is now protected. After that we have the body. If I recall, if I go to front end, yes, we have the body, so we can copy the name from here, body, put it here, and body will be also required because obviously as we are working with blog, so body is also necessary, so we can make it required. Got it? Now for body we don't have to add any kind of max length, because blog content can be really big. Got it? So the required rule is perfect for blog. After that we have the status. Let's add status. We can add it also a validation. It can be required and boolean. Okay, so that's it. That will be our form validation. Got it? We specify our field names, and also we are adding the rules that will validate every inputs. Now in Laravel there are a ton of rules. I'll be showing you the documentation little bit later on. First of all, let's check out that are we getting, I mean our form is now validated or not. Let's see. Let's go to front end. Let's go back here, refresh this page. Okay, now suppose let's remove this title from here and click on submit. Let's see what happened. Look at here, our page refreshed, but we are still at the same page. Basically we are not we wasn't in the same page. When we submit, it submit the form into the create route, right? In the create route, basically calling this store method, and in the store method we are validating all of our inputs. So as we didn't add any kind of title here, so what it did, it saw that there isn't any kind of title, but in our validation the title is required, so it just redirect the user again at the previous page. That's mean the create page. If I try it again, click on submit, look at here, we are again at the same page. We cannot go to next. Okay, that's because we are not fulfilling the validation. If I add here a diadem after the request, obviously after the validation I will add here diadem, and let's say form submitted. Let's say this will do the job. Let's go here, refresh this page again, submit it. You will see it will not work until I fill all of the pages, I mean all of the inputs. Let's select a category, let's select some title, let's select some body, let's add here. Okay, and we have a status selected, fine. If I click now on the submit, let's see what happened. Okay, so still we are getting some sort of error here. Now we have to find out what is the error. So currently when we are redirect backing, I mean when we are redirect back to our previous page, we are not showing any kind of error. For that reason, we don't know what is happening here. So what we have to do, we have to show the errors, because when we are trying to submit the form in the store method, I mean which will handle our request, we are validating our request. If the validation is fail, in that case Laravel will throw a error at the front end. It is basically stay in the session. So what we have to do, from the session we have to drag those errors and show it at the front end side, otherwise the user will not understand what is happening here. Even we created the logic, we cannot understand where the error is coming from. It is not giving us the permission to go to the next page. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to show the errors of the validation. So let's see how to show errors at the front end, validation errors. By I mean, let's go to create blade. Here is our form, right? Okay, so inside this card body, what I can do, I can add a if condition here. So let's add if directory. Make sure you end the if directory. Okay, now in Laravel we have a error variable, errors, not errors, error. Basically what this errors variable does, let me write it down here. Sorry. So as I was saying, Laravel have a default variable called errors. All kind of variable, I mean all kind of validation error will store in this error variable. Okay, and you can access this variable from anywhere at your front end. Okay, you just have to call these errors, and from these errors you can call some methods as well. Basically this is a instance, or you can say this is a error object basically. So it have some methods in it also that you can use. So from the errors, what I'll do, I'll call the has method. So it have a has method where we can check a specific validation error. Okay, let me do it here. If I cut it from here, let's see, if I go here, we have the select input. So I'll put it this if condition after the select input, and in the has method what I will do, I will add the name, which is category, right? So from the errors bag, what we are doing, we are checking that is there any kind of error by this name, which is category. If we have any kind of error, what we can do, we can add code, and we can add here curly braces, then access the errors, and we can chain fast method. And we already know what this fast method does. It will take only one data from the object. Okay, so in the fast I will put the name of the field, which is category. So if we have any kind of error from category field, we will show the error here. Let me show you. Let's go to front end, refresh this page. If I make it select, I will not select any kind of category here. I will just select this empty option, click on submit, and here as you can see, we are getting our error here. Look at here, the category field is required. So this is coming from Laravel validation. What we are doing, as we have a error for the category, we are first of all checking that if the errors has this category error. If it have, we are grabbing the category. And if we don't want to write this if else in every input, so basically we have to add this logic in every inputs if we want to show the errors for every input. Got it? But there is a shorter way to do that. what we can do, there is a directive called error. Look at here. Okay, so here what we can do, we can add here the name of the error, which will be category, and inside here what we will do, we will again add code tag and curly braces, and we can add here a message variable. This is also a global variable. So what it is doing is, if we have any kind of error from this category, we will show the message here. Okay, it will only show the category related message, it will not show any other message. Let me show you. If I go again here, again refresh this page, and I'll not select any kind of category, let's click on submit. Look at here, we're getting the same error again, but we're doing it more efficient way right now. Okay, so similar to this, you can add this error into every inputs. After this input, I can add it here. This time we can call it, let's say, title, because we have the title input here. Copy this one, let's go back. After the text area, we can put it here, and let's see what was the name. It was the name body. Let's copy this code again and paste it after the status. Okay, so it will be status. Got it? Let me format this document a little bit. Okay, as you can see, after every input we have the error validations. I mean, if we have any kind of error after submitting the form, we will show the errors after the form inputs. Let's go here, refresh this page, and I'll submit. Click on submit, and look at here, we're getting the error for category, we're getting the error for title, we're getting for the error for the body, but we are not getting the error for status because status is already selected, so it is fulfilling the requirement. Got it? Now, in previously when we submitted our form, we was redirecting back to the same page, so we have to find the issue why it is happening. I will fill up all of my data here. Okay, now let's click on submit. Okay, so here as you can see, it is giving us a error that category field is required, so something is wrong with this input. Got it? Let's see, let's find out. First of all, I'll check the name of the field, so it is category, right? So just copy this one, and let's go to our controller, and it seems fine here. If I go here again, okay, so look at here, in the option the value is empty. So for the value is empty, that's because that's mean we'll get the error, because we are adding here this required rule, and required rule means this category have to be filled. So we forgot about add the value here. So what will the value will in the database, we have to store the ID of the category, right? So if we just pass the ID here in the option, that will do the job. Just call this category variable, category access the ID of the category. That's all we have to do here. Refresh this page and it should work fine. Let's add and fill everything here, and if I click now on the submit, look at here, it is saying form submitted, right? That's mean our validation is now working fine and everything is great. Okay, so we saw how to add validations into the Laravel with the Laravel in the inputs, right? So currently we are showing the errors after the inputs, right? We are showing the errors one by one. What if you want to show all the error at once, okay, in alert or something? So how can you do that? It's simple. Basically, we'll be taking help of the error method, I mean function, that not the function, error variable that we used before, not this one. In previously when I showed you, we have, as I said, we have a variable called errors which will hold all of our errors. So for show all the errors at once, let's go to after body, I mean before the form. You can put this logic anywhere you like in the page, it's totally up to you. So I will be putting it here. I will add here a if condition, and in the if condition I will call the errors, okay, and there is a method called any. So it will check if there is any kind of error or not. If there is one error, so it will return true and it will run the code inside the if condition. Got it? Okay. Now here, if we have any kind of error, what we will do, we will run a for each. Basically we will access all of the error and we will loop that errors. So let's call this errors variable, and from the error I will access the all methods. So it will give us all the errors in a collections, right? So we'll be looping that collection. Let's put here error, and we can show the error inside the for each. Got it? So what we can do, we can use any kind of bootstrap alert. So let's see, we can search for alert. I'm currently at the bootstrap 5 documentation. Okay, so here we have the alert. So I need the red alert because we are getting error, right? So here is the success, secondary, primary, danger. Here is one. I'll just copy the danger one. Let's go here, paste it here inside of this loop, and in here what I can do, I can just put here the error itself, I mean this variable. Now let me show you. Let's go to our front end, refresh this page, and if I now click on submit, look at here, we are getting all of our error at once. Okay, though we are getting the single errors here also, but the motive was to show you both. If you want to show the single errors like that, you can do it via error directive or also with the if else condition, and also you can show all of the errors at once like this here. Got it? So that's all about the validation. That's how you can put the validations into your form inputs. Now if you want to know more about the validations and validation rules, you can go to Laravel documentation. Let's go to laravel.com, and I'll go to the validation part. I mean, sorry, in the documentation. In the documentation, I'll be searching for validation. You can remove the rules part. We can call this validation and search for validation. And here, as you can see, we have a dedicated page in our documentation, Laravel documentation, for the validation. And also here, as you can see, we have CSR protection. If you want to know more about CSR protection, you can view this page as well. So here you can see all of the documentation validation related items here. You can just explore them. In here you will find lots of advanced way to validate stuff. As you can see, we are basically using this method. From the request, we are calling the validate, and we're adding the validations here. Okay, also in here you will find the rules, some rules, like here we have rules. You can study them, that what kind of rules Laravel have available in it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you understand what is validation in Laravel and how to work with the validations. And in the next video, we'll be still working with the same form, but we'll be handling the form right now. Our validation part is done. Now we'll be storing this data into the database. So that's it for this video. I'll be seeing you